What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are diving into the manga Char's Deleted Affair, Portrait of a Young Comet. This story will take place immediately after the end of Mobile Suit Gundam, during the fall of Abawaku. We will see how Char escaped the asteroid fortress, and follow him as he spends time in exile on the asteroid Axis. So let's get into this. We once again start our story with the fall of Abawaku in December of UC 0079. The last we saw of Char Aznable was him killing Kycilia Zabi. So how does Char escape? Why, with the help of Lala's ghost, of course. He tries to get to the hangar, but he is met with a GM. He barely escapes the attack, and thanks Lala. He says that new types weren't meant to be tools of war. Char spots a Guazine. On board is Zena and Minova Zabi being watched by Makuve. Wait. Why is Makuve here? Didn't he die by the hands of Amado around Texas Colony? Yes, in the anime, Amado destroys Makuve's Gyan. However, in the final compilation movie, they completely removed Amado and Makuve's battle. It just shows the battle with Char's new Gelgoot in Texas Colony, and they edit around Makuve. So this is based off of the movie instead of the show. This is an interesting topic that needs its own video, but Makuve has a different death in Origin, the TV show, and the movie. Bandai says one thing while Tomino says another thing. So what is canon? It is hard to say considering there is canon material that references all versions of Makuve. I have always assumed that the original anime is canon, but the more I dive into Universal Century, the more I see this character as an editorial nightmare that no one has a handle on. But for now, no, that is why he is currently alive. Makuve wants Zena and Minova to take the Guazine to the homeland, but Char suggests using the Guazine as a distraction while the Zabis take a more discreet ship. Makuve will take out the Gyan and guard the Zabis, who will ride in a turbo-boosted Komsai. He goes to find the hangar chief and asks if there is a mobile suit that he could use. Their chief mechanic tells him that the only one left is Captain Char's old mobile suit. Char says, lucky him. The mechanic realizes he is talking to Char. He recently just fixed up a Gelgoot commander type. This was damaged during the White Base assault that killed Lala. Once he came to Abawaku, he switched over to the Jian. Char launches alongside the Guazine. A Salamis-class ship takes the bait and send out GMs to capture the Zabis. Meanwhile, Makuve and the Gyan and the Zabis in the Komsai escape safely. Char takes out 12 mobile suits within 2 minutes. They notice the Komsai and realize that the Guazine is a distraction. They go to chase the real Zabis. Char chases, but a GM comes at him with a beam saber. Unfortunately, his verniers aren't working. He can't move. In a great Char moment, he uses his 110mm machine cannon and destroys the gem's arm holding the beam saber. It flies off and Char grabs the arm and the beam saber and stabs the gem. He pushes the mobile suit out towards the Salamis. The Salamis fires. A beam heads towards Makuve and the Komsai, but the down GM gets in front of the blast and takes the brunt of the attack. The Komsai is able to make its escape. Char and the Guazine begin defending Abawaku as much as possible before making their escape. The Guazine goes to pick up the Zabis, who are on the way to Granada. On their way, peace treaties are starting to already happen. They have no choice but to head to Axis. They get into contact with Maharaja Khan, who is currently the leader of Axis. Currently, Axis is located in between Mars and Jupiter. They make their escape to the asteroid. A meeting with a certain young girl is waiting for Char on this small asteroid. Not my words, this is a direct quote. Why do they have to phrase it like that? April 22nd, UC 0081. A group of Zeon forces called the Pablo Team are on the outskirts of Side 7. They are able to destroy 8 mobile suits and 2 carriers. This group sends a communication to Maharaja Khan and Char about sending support. Maharaja wants to know Char's unbiased opinion about helping these Zeon remnants. It is clear that Maharaja is a sharp, no-nonsense leader, and Char can sense it. He tells the Axis leader that he lost everything during the 1-year war, but even if they were to win, Spacenoids still wouldn't feel freedom. He says that the Zeon remnants is a fruitless endeavor that will only cause more loss. Maharaja agrees with him. He wants an Axis devoid of war. A shuttle of civilians make their way towards Axis. Commander Khan is concerned that there won't be enough space to accommodate all the refugees. Remember, this is before Mosa was added to Axis. Char notices a white Rickdom escorting the shuttle. This is the Schnee Weiss. The MS-09R4 Schnee Weiss, which is German for Snow White, is a heavily modified Rickdom, was designed to be retrofitted with the Psychomu system. The Psychomu system is bigger than the mobile suit itself. It also has the shoulder thrusters that you will see on the Kubli. Of course, this mobile suit is considered the prototype of the Cubli. So when Quattro saw the Cubli in Zeta Gundam, he knew that Axis took great strides in terms of their technology. The Psychomo system and shoulder thrusters can be detached and become, it's just a Rickdom after that. It also has bits, just like the Cubli. Other than that, it has a heat saber and a prototype beam rifle. Although they don't want to fight, they really must step up the defense game. Maharaja shows Char the 0, the R. The AMA 00GR 0GR or 0 the R is a mobile armor by class only, as this unit borderlines on a mobile fortress. It evolved from the new Zeal, which Annabelle Gato will go on to pilot in UC-0083. This unit has Vulcans, but at the size of this unit, kind of makes them pointless. It also has a mouth mega particle cannon, which is just a beam cannon in the mouth of the unit. It has a mouth? Its main weapon is the eye field generator, which makes the fortress impenetrable to beam weapons. It also has a mega particle cannon. He introduces Char to Captain Enzo Bernini. Enzo wants to be, let's just say, more proactive and less peaceful. Maharaja says that the 0GR was ordered by Dozel Zabi for Char to use. But after the death of Garmazabi, Char was pulled off his team and began working with Kycelia. Char tells them that mobile armors aren't really his thing. They peer pressure him by saying it was Dozel's dying wish. At that time, the Schnee Weiss begins docking. A young, red-headed girl gets out of the mobile suit. It is a young Haman Khan. They all have high hopes for Haman and the next generation. It is quite clear that she is a new type. A soldier comes to Maharaja. It appears Xena has collapsed. I call this one the "I'm so loyal to my husband, I die right after he does, because my husband was my entire purpose" cliche. This happens in a lot of anime still. It appears she only has a 20% chance of survival. Haman comes in and is concerned about Minerva's future without her mother. Maharaja asks Haman if she wants to meet Char. The next day, Char watches as Haman excels at the simulator. Wait a minute, that isn't a mobile suit uniform. That is an Ava plug suit. Get out of here with that. She tells Char that she wished that this simulator has a Psychomo system. When she says this, it causes Char to have PTSD. He flashes back to Lala's death. This causes Char to be cold and serious with Haman. Meanwhile, the Zeon remnants realize that Axis isn't going to help them. Char is doing a test run with the 0GR. Because his mobile armor is closer to a mobile fortress, most pilots use the autopilot and focuses on artillery. But Char is piloting the mobile armor manually, and he is using 3 times normal speed. Natalie Bianchi and Haman are watching Char's piloting skills. Char sees something on the radar and assumes it is a ship, but he is called back to Axis. Haman comes to greet him. As they talk, Char gives his attention to Enzo. This upsets Haman. It seems she has taken a liking to him. Char meets with Maharaja and Hines in regards to a possible mole in Axis receiving messages from outside of Axis. Char mentions that he noticed something in S field. He wants to go investigate, but the commander says it would be too conspicuous. Hines goes instead. Char thinks of Haman. He is visited by the ghost of Lala. She thinks that Char should accept Haman's feelings for him. Wait, how old is Char? Okay. How old is Haman? It is a big cliche to take care of the ones you love in Japan. In the West, we sometimes typically refer to that as grooming, though. Let's move on quickly. Haman wakes up. Something is wrong. She ends up taking a shower. At the same time, Xena slowly passes away in her sleep. While Haman is in the shower, she bursts out in tears and runs to Char. She yells out for Xena and then suddenly passes out. As Char lays her down, he gets a call regarding the death of Xena. Char realizes that Haman was able to sense it. She is quite the strong new type. Back on Earth, EFF is plotting to make moves on Axis, but some are hesitant about starting another war. However, the leader of this meeting, Jemitov Hyman, says they will be eliminated. In the hospital, Char brings Haman flowers. He heads out to meet with Natalie for a date. She mentions that no one would ever give up the opportunity to have dinner with Char. As they drive off, and a red hot rod, of course, Haman watches. The vase of flowers breaks. Did she just become Jean Grey? They visit an area that is very underdeveloped. We can assume that this is Mosa, still under construction. She recognizes that Char asked her out because she wants to know more about Haman. Natalie says that the commander asked her to be Haman's friend when she was 10. She was alone as there weren't too many young people on Axis. She exhibited new type abilities very young, and Axis scientists began running tests on her. But these tests were hard on her, and she began refusing her new type powers. It was only recently that she was interested in her power again. but she is unstable. When Char asks Natalie what can help her, she says to Char that you can. He is still the Red Comet. He is a beacon of hope to the people of Axis. Also, he could give her that Red Comet dip. A few tables over, some people are complaining about the food, causing a ruckus. At the table next to them are two men who stand up to the rowdy customers. It just so happens to be Apolli and Roberto. Their names aren't actually Apolli and Roberto, just as Quattro isn't Char's real name. Hey, wait a minute, Char isn't even Char's real name. I am getting sidetracked. Their real names are Andy and Ricardo, and they were former underlings of Char during the 1-year war. As they are fighting the thugs, Andy notices Char. When Andy speaks the name of the Red Comet, the thugs begin to cower in fear. Later, Axis holds an emergency meeting. Since the death of Xena, morale has been very low. Enzo suggests that they hold a crowning ceremony for Minavazabi to bring up the hope of the people. She is only 1 year old, but ultimately Maharaja agrees with the idea. Char lets Maharaja know of his concerns with the idea. He doesn't want to rely on the Zabis for the growth of Zeon, but there is truth to Enzo's statements and morale must be boosted. Something doesn't seem right, but Maharaja wants to maintain the peace. Is Maharaja's extreme pacifism going to be his downfall? I think his extreme pacifism is going to be his downfall. Hines goes out in a shuttle called the Seahorse. Couldn't find any data on this one. He goes out past an asteroid and notices 20 Musais. If he goes out any further, they will lose communication with him. Of course, Hines goes out further. He notices that all the Musais are unserviceable. At that moment, Eizaku rushes towards Hines for an attack. The Seahorse shuttle is captured, and Hines is taken on board a random Musai. The rogue Zeon soldiers take Hines to the bridge. One of them recognizes Hines, as he was the soldier's instructor. Hines wants to know what they are doing with ship scraps. One soldier blurts out that they are going to lure EFF out with it. Hines realizes it is clear they are going to try to start another war. They make him watch on the bridge as they begin their operation. Back at Axis, Maharaja and Char are concerned for Hines, as it has been a few hours since they have lost communication. Char wants to go out to find him, but Khan thinks that he could end up just like Hines. Char excuses himself from the commander. Here we learn that Maharaja doesn't want Char to be a fighter, but rather a leader. He looks at a picture of Zeon Daikum, Casaval, Artesia, Degwan, and Maharaja. He knows who Char's real identity, or at least has a huge hunch. Natalie goes to visit Haman, who is taking a shower. Natalie wonders why she doesn't lock the door. She clearly doesn't understand the concept of fan service. Besides the fan service, we get a really nice moment between Natalie and Haman. She is struggling with her new type powers as she can't get Xena's death out of her mind. She is having her X-Men moment and no one truly knows what she is going through, but she is able to empathize and get her out of her slump and at least leave her room. If new types are going to be these super empaths, then explore that concept a little more like we see here. Enzo Bernini is planning on Minerva's ceremony. He meets with his team, whom are all a part of the faction that wants to bring forth war instead of living in this isolationist lifestyle. He too wants to use Char for his own nefarious purposes. As an elite soldier, they want to force his hand. If they were to start a war, they believe that Char would be forced to side with Zeon in said situation. They wonder if they should involve Natalie in their plan, but Enzo thinks that right now they need people who can take action. He believes it is almost time to reveal their true intentions. Char understands not taking action, but he believes they should be prepared for an attack. He wants to prep his Gelgoog. He happens to run into a mechanic who tells him that the Gelgoog has 2 weeks before it will be battle ready. He wonders about the Zero the R. The mechanic tells them that it is battle ready, but there is a problem with the eye field. It is too good and exceeds the specs of the design. It struggles when used for long periods. This doesn't concern Char, as he never wanted to rely on the eye field anyways. He heads into the hangar to see that all mobile suits are being prepped for Minerva's ceremony, but there should only be one team. Major Marco tells Char that this is considered an official military event and all will be on standby in case of Federation action. This is exactly Char's concern as well, but it doesn't seem right coming from Major Marco. Something is off. He has to figure out a plan. That is when he runs into Haman. She apologizes for being an awkward space wizard and then runs off and bumps into Natalie. Char realizes that she still is just a young girl. He still wants to tap it though. Meanwhile, on board the rogue Musai-class ship, a soldier is being arrested by his comrades. The commander tells him that they know he is a Federation soldier that was leaking information. The commander says that he knew he was a Fedi from the beginning of this operation and allowed him to leak info to EFF. The mole realizes he led EFF into a trap. We cut to the EFF fleet heading to Axis territory. On board their ships are the GM Command. The RGM-79GS GM Command is built off the design of the cold district types. The placement of the thruster verniers on the GM Command's backpack are optimized based on simulations of operation within colonies. They are pointed downwards for movement under gravity. The GM Command series is also the first GM to utilize the mono-eye camera. During the 1-year war, these units were late-game mobile suits and didn't see too much combat and thus never actually utilized its full potential. It is made of titanium ceramic composite and is armed with 60mm Vulcans, a beam saber, a shield made of titanium ceramic composite developed near the end of the 1-year war, a 90mm bullpup machine gun, and much more. There is an emergency on the EFF bridge. It seems the mole gave them information that contained a virus. Their communication systems are offline. They are flying blind. They are about 45 days out from their Mars outpost. It seems the only plan of attack is to conquer the Axis base and use their supplies. This seems like an oversight on EFF's end, but whatever gets people to fight.
Let them fight.
Char privately meets with Ricardo and Andy in his quarters. They are trying to figure out what to do about the war instigation faction. It is most certain that the attack will take place in 7 days during Minerva's ceremony. On top of that, after looking at training simulation data, it is clear that most of the pilots on Axis have very little real-world experience. The rogue Xeon is planning on blowing an asteroid to use against Axis. Meanwhile, Haman is prepping for the ceremony. Enzo is prepping for the operation on his end. The rogue Xeon fleet has assembled their fleet of scrap ships. Luckily, they are all able to still fire their main cannons. Back with the Federation fleet, the Minovsky particle density increases. They are close to Xeon. Meanwhile, the ceremony commences. Minerva Zabi is now officially the heir to the Zabi throne. Everyone seeks that Xeon. The scrap ships fire on the EFF fleet. They notice and are concerned that Xeon has such a big fleet after the 1-year war. Of course, these ships are scraps and barely hanging on by a thread. EFF fires on the scrap fleets and eviscerates their ships. So were those cannons fired remotely? If not, was there like one guy who fired the cannon and then sprinted all the way to the escape pod before EFF attacked them? I have so many questions. The rogue Xeon fleet explodes the asteroid. Tiny meteorites start falling on Axis. Char realizes that it is happening. EFF thinks that it is Axis. They felt like that was too easy to destroy. Suddenly, they notice an even bigger planet-sized object, the real Axis. EFF heads towards the asteroid. The asteroid density is too high. EFF launches the mobile suit fleet and the GM command. Enzo wants to send out a fleet to intercept the forces, but Maharaja is still trying not to fight. He calmly suggests otherwise to the Axis commander. Char notes how calm and collected Enzo currently is, and perhaps he knows of the size of the enemy forces. Maharaja must give a command. While this is going on, Haman Khan gets up on the ceremony stage and starts riling up the soldiers, asking what were their efforts from the Battle of Abawaku up until today for. This is her first attempt at becoming a leader to the people of Axis. She leads a team to the hangar to sortie. Maharaja has lost control of his daughter and some of his soldiers. Enzo goes to watch over their sortie, with a smile on his face, of course. All hell is breaking loose on Axis. Char meets up with Andy and Ricardo. They will assemble a mobile suit team while Char goes out in the Zero the R. Haman gets into the Schnee Weiss. Natalie tries to prevent her from launching. She says that her words inspired the people and there is no need to go out. But Haman says words mean nothing if she doesn't take action. She launches and wants Natalie to send out the bit carrier backpack. Natalie refuses and wants her to come back to Axis. But Maharaja tells Natalie to allow her to go out. He too realizes everyone on the battlefield currently is a rookie, so what is one more? He also recognizes that she plays a huge role in boosting morale, and having her out there in a real-world battle will be good for her. Also, she has bits, so she can just pick off people from the rear with extreme ease. Saikomu systems are total hacks, man. Natalie launches the bit carrier and assigns her some Zakus to back her up. Char is heading out to launch. He didn't expect Haman to do what she did, and it kinda messes up his plan. He wonders if he could protect Haman while keeping the enemy back. The mechanic recommends he wears a spacesuit, but Char doesn't do that. He puts his trust into the mechanics. Except for the Jiang, he said, "F that no-leg mobile suit." Andy and Ricardo spend a good page going, "I hope you don't die, bro. No, man, I hope you don't die, bro." Which is silly considering this is a prequel, and we know when they die. It seems like Maharaja has no other choice but to send out the remaining Xeon forces. The people of Mosa evacuate, and they have Minerva launch in a shuttle off the asteroid for safekeeping. Haman gets a little bit of space madness, but snaps out of it real quick when she sees the other Xeon forces on the battlefield. The rogue Xeon fleet are watching as they watch Axis attack. That is considered a win for them. In the hangar, Char has to wait on the tarmac as he is too big and there are mobile suits launching ahead of him. He hopes that Haman will be safe without him. On the battlefield, Haman is certain that Char will protect her. Char notes that Xeon should prepare for many losses in this battle. He is finally able to launch. As much as he hates the eye field, Char may have to use it to make a beeline through the enemy's attack. His goal is to protect Haman and ensure no one gets anywhere near Axis. Andy, Ricardo, and a team of Zaku's meet up with the Red Comet. Andy's team will join Char in saving and protecting Haman, and Ricardo's team will prevent enemies from getting to Axis. One Magellan hangs back in the asteroid zone and will wait to attack any Xeon suits that come their way. Back with Haman, she is heading to the battle zone. One of Enzo's men tells her to pull back, but she wants to experience this battle. She deploys her bits. 2 of them are malfunctioning. Natalie tells her that they weren't properly tested yet. 2 GMs approach her location. She goes after one. The GM is able to evade. She realizes that the simulators are slower than real life. She tries again with her bits, but gets a direct hit. On the rogue Xeon ship, Heinz is watching all this go down. They forced Axis to break their isolationism and get involved once again. Monica, one of Enzo's underlings, and a pro-war Xeon, is excited to begin the Xeon War for independence once again, but GMs come in and damage her Gelgoog. Xeon soldier Captain Racken comes in his Rickdom Swai and tells her to fall back. We haven't talked about the Rickdom Swai, even though it has been showing up since UC0080, so let's dive into this unit. The MS-09R2 Rickdom 2, pronounced Rickdom Swai, is the improved Rickdom designed with mainly space use in mind. It has more vernier thrusters for better mobility in space. According to the 80s GUNPLA instruction manual, it integrates parts of the Gelgoog into its system, but doesn't specify exactly what, so who knows. Though designed for space, it can still function in atmosphere and colonies with modifications. It uses a scattering beam gun, a heat saber, a new giant bazooka, a 90mm machine gun, and a Sturmfaust, and much more. Haman shoots down her 4th GM. Another one comes in and shoots down a Zaku next to her. She realizes her comrade is dead. She then realizes that she also just killed people, and she begins spiraling mid-battle. These are her first kills, so it's natural to have these thoughts, but probably not the right time to be having them. She realizes this could be her fate in war. On Axis, Enzo gets a report that 30% of their forces have already been taken out. It seems that the GMs are far superior to the GM used during the Battle of Abawaku. Haman heads towards the main battle. The Magellan-class ship begins tracking her. Char is rushing to find Haman. He runs into a few GMs. He tries to shoot them down, but they evaded the attack with ease. Char instantly recognized that attack pattern. It was Amado Ray and the Gundam. Char can't sense him with his new type powers, so he realizes that the Gundam's battle data has been integrated into the GM. Every GM is now as skilled as Amado was during the 1-year war. Char realizes that they are going to lose this battle. Back on the front lines, Ricardo is also struggling to fight the GMs. He thinks that he's fighting new types based on how well they move. He has no choice but to fall back. Enemy ships begin moving closer towards Axis. They're unable to launch their battleships as they are too close, and launching now would make them a giant target. Natalie mentions that a fleet may be hiding in S-Field near the asteroid debris. Haman is taking out more GMs, but EFF sends out reinforcements. Her bits are bulky, but she makes what she has work. Her new type powers are working overtime. Andy is struggling. Char tells him what he thinks is going on. We get a flashback of Amado battling, and he tells Andy that he believes that a new type like Amado can most likely sense the enemy and kill them all in a matter of milliseconds. He says that these are copies of Amado, and an incomplete copy at that, so they may still have a chance in this battle. If you notice, these veteran fighters are struggling to get a hit, but Haman is succeeding. Certainly, the Psychomu system helps, but it is mainly attributed to her being an insanely skilled new type. Remember, this is her real first battle. 37% of Axis forces are destroyed. Suddenly, Axis mainland is attacked. Things are looking bad. Andy and Ricardo head back to Axis and help protect the homeland, while Char continues looking for Haman. The Minovsky particle density is too high, so he gives Andy a message to give back to headquarters. Natalie receives the message from Char. EFF forces are stronger than estimated. All forces will return to Axis and act as turrets to protect the homeland. At first, Enzo thought Char's message was foolish. Enzo wants Zeon to engage in war, but isn't going to make his men go on a suicide mission. They send out a green flare to tell all forces to get back to Axis and defend. Monica and Racken make their way back. The rogue Zeon forces are upset that they are pulling back. They decide to go in and attack themselves. Back at Axis, Andy is starting to adapt to the new GMs. They are great at evading, but their aim with a rifle still isn't great. Andy says screw it and goes in close and starts punching. He realizes that they still suck at close combat fighting. He lets Ricardo and Char know of this information. Unfortunately, close combat isn't a possibility with the Zero the R, but he does have the I field. Char enters into the asteroid field and tries to find Haman. He notes that Haman's bits will be useless in the asteroid field. As Haman heads through the asteroids, just as Char thought, her bits are being destroyed by asteroid debris. She has only 4 bits left. Everything is looking good on the surface of Axis, and they are turning the tables. EFF is starting to realize that they hardened their defenses and are luring in their mobile suits towards Axis. The EFF commander also decides to advance towards Axis. Haman notices something moving. It is the EFF fleet. She begins heading towards the enemy. 3 GMs approach, and she is able to take them out with ease. Back on the rogue Musai, Karth helps Hein escape from the ship. Heinz was Karth's former flight instructor, and he begs him to leave the ship ASAP. Heinz then realizes they intend to do a kamikaze mission. He takes Heinz out to a shuttle. Heinz tells Karth to come with them and not throw his life away, but he heads back to the Musai. Haman only has 3 bits left. She goes to attack the fleet. The EFF commander detects the Dom approaching. They prepare to attack Haman, when suddenly the Musai-class ship heads right towards the Magellan. EFF fires their cannons towards the Musai. They keep pushing forward and attempt to ram them, but the Magellan takes out the Musai before they were able to do any heavy damage to the EFF fleet. The explosion did, however, take out Haman's remaining bits. The Magellan does have some slight damage to their upper decks, but can still fight. However, their targeting system is down. Char sees the explosion and notes it is big, so it must be a battleship. He rushes in and sees Haman directly in front of the Magellan. She releases the Psychomo system backpack to lose some weight, but she is getting no response from her controls. GMs begin surrounding her. The Magellan ignores the DOMs and lets the GMs handle it while they focus on the targeting system. As she thinks she is about to die, she yells out Char's name. Her naked psychic new-type body screams out, and Char is able to sense it. Char screams, "Haman, I'm coming!" Which I originally wanted to give Japanese people the benefit of the doubt, but Japanese people say I'm coming as well. There is no excuse. The Magellan notices the mobile armor coming in, but they have to deal with the white Dom first. Char tells Haman to get behind him when he comes in, but Haman is not responding to him. She is spiraling hard. Char yells out to her. Haman's life flashes before her eyes. On Axis, Natalie gets data on the explosion in S-Field. The Minovsky particle density is too high, but the signature appeared like a Musai-class ship. Enzo recognizes that this is the rogue Zeon fleet that he appears to be in cahoots with. Things are looking good for Axis. During the explosion, Natalie spotted a shadow and wonders if it is the Schneeweiss. She hopes that Char will be able to protect her. Char rushes in. He reverses thrusters and takes a lot of G's to the face. Damn, that has to hurt. The GMs shoot at the Zero the R, but it uses its I field on the beam and deflects their beams back at the GMs and takes out all 4 instantly. He continues towards Haman. The Magellan uses its twin megaparticle cannon on Haman's Dom. Char is able to grab Haman and activate his I field, completely tanking the twin megaparticle cannon. The I field output is now only at 40%. Char continues pushing forward. He is now too close, and EFF can't use their main cannons, so they use their auxiliary beam cannons, which I didn't think that the Magellan had sub-beam weapons. Doesn't it just have 7 twin megaparticle cannons? Anyways, it fires on the Zero the R, and it tanks another attack. He is facing the bridge head on. His thrusters are blown out from that last beam attack. The I field is cooked. Char wonders if he could bluff his way through a surrender. EFF wonders if they can attack him at this range, but it would damage the bridge. Char tells them to tell all forces to cease fire. The EFF commander tells them that they are only one ship and EFF will continue on with or without them. On the outskirts of Axis, Andy runs into Racken, who is heading back to the homeland. Andy tells Racken that they are weak against close combat. The two introduce themselves to one another. We learn Racken was present during the Battle of Solomon. Back in S-Field, Char pretends like they led them into a trap and that it was his plan all along for EFF to get close to Axis and leave the Magellan helpless. He also name drops himself and lets them know they are talking to the Red Comet. This makes the commander nervous and he gives in and surrenders. He calls for a ceasefire and sends out a flare to retreat. Zeon has won this battle. Now that they are safe, Enzo launches the Zeon fleet ships and wrangles up the remaining EFF fleet ships. However, one Salamis-class ship breaks off from the EFF fleet. Enzo lets the ship flee. They are too far out into space and there are no other EFF forces in this sector. They will most likely starve to death. Andy, Ricardo, and Racken meet up in the hangar after landing. They thank each other for a job well done. Natalie calls a medic for Haman. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Axis, in Infield, a shuttle approaches. A young girl from Side 3 is making a visit to Axis. A shuttle lands on Axis. She mentions that it took her over half a year to get to Axis from the Earth sphere, which we can infer when Char fled Axis from Abawaku that it took roughly the same amount of time. I made the assumption in the past that it probably took them a year, but I never caught this line before, and it being half a year it doesn't seem so fast to me. So let's stop guessing and let's try to do some math. Okay, so Axis is somewhere in between Mars and Jupiter. What is also in between Mars and Jupiter is the asteroid belt. So let's assume they are hiding out somewhere there. That is about 1.5 astronomical units, or about 140 miles from Earth. If it only took her half a year, she is traveling at the speed of around 278 million miles per year, or approximately 32,000 miles per hour. To compare, I believe Apollo 13 was able to reach a top speed of approximately 24,000 miles per hour. Our modern engineering can theoretically allow us to make it to Mars in about half a year, and considering the asteroid belt is just the next big thing past Mars, it is relatively in line with our modern-day propulsion systems and understanding of physics. Unfortunately, in the real world, resources are limited unless we find our own Minovsky particle. This is Oksana Baginskaya. She is a 20-year-old from Side 3 that is acting as a diplomat for the Republic of Zeon. She is going through customs, and he recommends she finish her job quickly. She doesn't seem very welcome on Axis. Post-battle, resources are running low while their population continues to rise. Enzo is meeting with his team. 12 mobile suits were destroyed and 47 were damaged during the battle against EFF. One soldier makes jabs at Monica for not doing well on the battlefield. She mentions that something was different about these GMs. They were incredibly enhanced since the days of the 1-year war. They are celebrating that EFF knows that Zeon still exists and that they seek independence. His warmongering ways are working in his favor. One is concerned that Maharaja Khan will find out about their plan. Enzo believes that if Khan were to come after them, it would cause a bigger divide within Axis, and thus he doesn't believe that he will go after them. However, Char may very well put a stop to their plan if he finds out. Enzo plans on taking care of them. One person they didn't plan on being a benefit to them was Haman. They believe they can manipulate her into doing their bidding. Char meets with Natalie to see how Haman is doing. After the battle, she seemed to be mentally unstable and was taken to a hospital for her mental health. She seems to be stable now. Char plans on visiting Haman with Natalie later in the day, but that isn't why she wanted to meet with him. She tells Char that Enzo seemed to have known about the size of the enemy fleet even though communication in S-Field was down during the battle. Char already has his eyes on Enzo, and he says that Natalie is quite sharp for taking note of this. He recommends that if anyone comes to her to discuss what happened during the battle, she keep it to herself. Oksana is being held up for 10 days in custom until she is able to touch foot on Axis. As she complains, the news shows a funeral for the lost during the battle. It also shows footage of Haman giving her speech to the people before the battle. Oksana wants to meet her. Hines is giving his debriefing on being captured by the rogue Zeon ship. It seems they were a part of the Guaran fleet that were all destroyed during the Battle of Solomon. It was assumed that this Musai went down with the fleet. Unfortunately, he didn't find any information that would tie the rogue ship to Enzo. Hines wants to do something, but Maharaja simply wants to bring the Enzo faction to his way of thinking. After all, everyone desires independence for the people of Zeon. Once again, Maharaja is blinded by his pacifism. He says he wants to do it the same way Zeon Daikum would handle this. Char realizes in that moment Maharaja knows who he really is. In regard to the actions of Aman, they would like to avoid trial since she isn't a part of the military and a minor, but will ultimately be left up to the people of Axis. At the hospital, the doctor tells Char and Natalie that the experience of killing another human always affects first-time soldiers. But Haman is still young, and it seems to be affecting her more than other patients. Once she reached an emotional breaking point, she passed out. It is possible that this may happen again in the future, but she is quite well for now. Natalie looks at Char and asks if he understands her, because he is a new type. He says he doesn't, and then asks Natalie that he thought she would be able to understand her because she is a woman. They go to visit her. Haman's sister, Sarana, is with her. Haman wonders if she did the right thing by joining the battle. Char says the fight was inevitable, and she did well on the battlefield. He and Natalie tell her that the people are sending her fan mail and flowers, and that she is seen as a hero for her bravery. Suddenly, Oksana comes in. She apparently found a way to get out of her confinement in customs. She tells them she came all the way here to see Char. Oksana asks if Natalie is Char's girlfriend. While Natalie blushes, Oksana gives Haman a bouquet of flowers. At a meeting with Axis leaders, Enzo wants to create a royal guard for Minerva Zabi, and he wants Char to be the founding director. It is clear that Enzo is trying to remove Char from the front lines. Char recognizes this as well. He also wants to make Haman Minerva's guardian. In 12 days, Haman will celebrate her 15th birthday. Sure, that's a good age to have a kid. January 10th, UC 0082. It is the day of Haman's birthday, and also the day she will be appointed guardian of Minerva. The event was held in private with only Zeon's top brass, but they held a parade for the people to celebrate this occasion. Char is with Haman as they go down Main Street, while over 10,000 Zeon citizens cheer for them. She is very nervous about taking on the role, but for the most part, they are rich and have handmaids, so she never has to physically take on the role of caretaker. She simply emotionally has to be there for Minerva. He tells her that the people of Axis won't get independence nor engage in war in its current state. The people of this asteroid don't even know if they will be alive tomorrow, and morale post-one-year war is up in the air. They need a person like Haman to point to as a North Star. Suddenly, a young boy comes rushing to Haman's car. It's a young Mashimer! He gives Haman a flower before security takes him away. Starting that crush real early, Oksana meets with Maharaja Khan. She seems to be a mole that provides information to Axis regarding the process of returning to a republic on Side 3. Apparently, her higher-ups were killed before heading to Axis, so as the assistant, she took on the job. Khan mentions that she might blend in better than her predecessors. It seems the republic on Side 3 has barely any autonomy and is in complete control of the Federation. She says that the people gave up on something about themselves in exchange for peace. He asks if she understands why she was sent here, and she says yes, but they leave us, the audience, hanging. Char is playing with Minerva. It looks similar to Minerva's memories of Char that we see in Zeta Gundam. Perhaps it is this moment. Commander Irene comes in and tells Char that fighting may be inevitable, and until that happens, Minerva may be the only person who could bring hope to the people. Char goes to meet with the mechanic Hubert. He says that the Gelgoog is ready for him to use. He hates using mobile armors, and the mobility of mobile suits suit him better. Char asks if the Gazas can be adapted for combat. Char says they are experimenting with the possibilities, but it is a giant mobile worker. He is referring to the Gaza A. The AMX-001 Gaza A is a mobile worker that was designed to be a cheap and efficient tool for mining resources on Axis. Remember, before the one-year war, Axis was simply a mining asteroid facility that was eventually converted into a military fortress and home to many. These are very cheap and easy to manufacture. They use the Ogo as a base. We've seen the Ogo during the Battle of Abawaku in Mobile Suit Gundam Igloo and was similar to EFF's Ball. Of course, this is the foundation for which all the Gaza mobile suits will be based on. Char goes to meet with Oksana. He was assigned to accompany her for the day. She wants to visit all locations on Axis. This is the face of a man who realizes the next few hours will be very boring. A few hours later, Char wants to call it quits, but she wants to explore the female officer's quarters, but even he doesn't have access to that area. She pushes him to get a hold of Natalie. Natalie lets the two into her room, but she is kind of taken aback by the whole situation. She wants to take photos of her room, but she won't allow it until she cleans up. Meanwhile, Axis not only is taking a lot of refugees from Side 3, they are also feeding and housing the EFF prisoners from the previous battle. Oksana wasn't told about these prisoners. They are starting to get riled up. One soldier informs them that EFF will never officially acknowledge that Axis exists, and that if we don't come back with a victory, most likely no one is coming to save them. They start making plans to break out. Char and Oksana say their farewells for the night when suddenly, oh, silly Oksana, she slipped. Her soul is weighed down by Axis gravity. Quick, Char, catch her! The small radius of Axis makes gravity wonky. He catches her just in time for Haman to walk by and catch the two in an awkward situation. Oh no, she's not just jealous, she's new type jealous. Last episode, Oksana accidentally stumbled and Char caught her. Haman just so happened to see this. She replays this moment in her mind over and over again. She is way too distracted and postpones her etiquette lessons. There's a lot of white people on YouTube getting views on teaching etiquette. I'm jealous. Maybe I should start teaching snobby table manners instead of Gundam history. She excuses herself and goes to work out. Natalie is running right next to her. Haman tells her the situation and Natalie says that it is clearly love. Haman is embarrassed. They begin talking about Oksana. They wonder why Char is assigned to be a glorified tour guide for her. Meanwhile, Char and Oksana are having ice cream. She wants to show the people of Side 3 everything of this place. She says many are trying to emigrate here. Char, however, suggests she paints a more realistic picture of what this place is like. For the average person, it is quite a harsh place to live. She says that Char should come to visit Side 3. He wonders why she is trying to get him to Side 3 and if Maharaja Khan has something to do with this. Out of the corner of his eye, he notices someone is tailing him. He tells Oksana he is done for the day. Enzo is meeting with some of his men at his personal estate in Musa. They have confirmed that the battle data of the GM was indeed on the level of the Gundam. We get an offhand comment of getting more funding and putting that into cloning research. As we are currently going through Double Zeta, we have met one, Ella Pipuru, whose DNA will be cloned. They go on to talk about how they have hastily created a detention center for the EFF POWs. They didn't expect them to have so many soldiers. They move on to talk about their next discussion, using this sense of urgency to start another war. Racken, Andy, Ricardo, and others have requested that Captain Char give them a training exercise. They want to prepare in case another attack on Axis happens again. One of Enzo's men, whose name I already forgot, gets on Char's back. Remember, he has been placed as head of the Royal Guard, a position to push him out of the way. Char tells him that this has been approved and to piss off. Oksana meets with Maharaja Khan and she tells him of the situation. She wants to know why Maharaja simply doesn't tell him that he knows about his true identity as Casval Rim Daikun. He thinks that if he were to approach him in his current state, he simply will deny it and that will be that. He understands that the 1-year war has made Char somewhat bitter towards war. It seems he wants Char to return to Side 3 to ignite that fire inside him once again. Meanwhile, Haman thinks of Char while in the shower. She wonders why she has feelings for him. I'm not going to show the image of Haman in the shower. Go masturbate on your own time. The team heads out to do some training exercises. They are still struggling, but they push forward. Enzo's men goes to monitor Char in the control room, but they have moved into S-Field where Minovsky density is really high from the battle. He mentions to Enzo's other underlings, whose name I can't remember, that he was the one who sabotaged S-Field during the war to hide the rogue Xeon ship. Dude is boldly talking way too loudly about being a traitor. After meeting with Maharaja, Oksana gets lost in the corridors that she shouldn't have access to. One security member goes out to help. At the same time, Axis is transferring EFF forces to the new detention center. Oksana happens to cross paths with the prisoners. She distracts them long enough to take out the Axis guards. They tie up the security guards and hold Oksana as a prisoner. One man finds a terminal and hacks into Xeon's systems.
Fight the planet!
Axis instantly recognizes the hack and goes to stop them. They hack and trap Maharaja in his office. Dario, that's his name, Dario, is trapped in his office as well. Suddenly, one of his men comes in looking for something. Dario wants to know how she opened the door, but when she goes to open it again, she now can't. They are both trapped in the office. After messing with Axis, EFF hacks and breaks the rest of the EFF soldiers out of prison. Two of them put on Xeon uniforms and pretend to be the ones transporting prisoners. They head to the mobile suit hangars. In the hangar, I want to say Monica? Enzo's forgettable underling number 3 is complaining that her Gelgoog isn't getting fixed by the mechanics. He tells her that the Schneeweiss has priority over her unit. She is mad as she wanted to see the GM's test flight. Test pilots are waiting in the wing, stuck behind some doors. They are already running 15 minutes behind. Some guys come in and say, "Sorry, the test has been canceled," and punches the test pilot in the face. Nice action one-liner, bro. EFF soldiers are still trying to find their GMs. They are still locked in the control room. Natalie isn't an expert, but she uses the terminal to connect to Xeon's main systems. It seems that everyone's ID has been deleted, which is why they no longer have door access. She recognizes that the air control systems function independently, and that is probably their point of breach. They have an elite hacking battle that ultimately leads to nothing. They have to move fast. It seems that Mosa is too far from their current location. Some of the EFF soldiers aren't going to be able to be saved. One soldier says as long as one of them can make it back to Earth, it will be worth it. They need to use this opportunity to find their battleship. He looks up information on a Xeon officer they could use. They happen to find data on Enzo. One of the EFF soldiers pretends to be Enzo and tells one of Axis soldiers that they intend to take the Magellan-class ship out and detonate it into space. He pressures him to make it happen. The soldier says that an army with a strong chain of command tends to become weak if you drop the right name. Meanwhile, in the hangar, Monica is stuck, just like the rest of the soldiers. That is when the EFF soldiers dressed as Xeon soldiers come in with Oksana. Monica instantly finds them suspicious. She starts interrogating them about which side they grew up on and notices Oksana. That is when the soldiers rush to the GMs. Monica yells out, but the EFF commander knees her right in the gut. She goes to chase them, but the main airlock is about to open and she doesn't have a spacesuit on. They need to get to the emergency airlock. Back at the command center, Natalie is still doing some hacking. She is informed of a hangar opening. She realizes someone is trying to take the GMs. She has full access to the Schneeweiss, however. That is when she notices that civilian IDs are still functional on Axis. Haman might be the only one able to launch. Natalie tries to get a hold of her. The GMs are up and running. Before they are able to launch, Monica comes in with her Gelgoog and takes out one of the GMs. Haman finally picks up the phone, but she doesn't want to fight. Natalie asks her if her big speech was simply impulsive. This motivates her to go out and help. Meanwhile, Monica chases the GM out into space. Haman must use a regular spacesuit as there is no time to get access to the Psychomo suit. In Lieutenant Hines' office, he is able to make contact with Maharaja Khan. Both are really unable to do anything from their end. Hines asks permission from Khan to use the secret line to attempt to communicate with the command center. He allows it. Hines gets into contact with Natalie. She gives him the rundown on what is happening. We learn that Monica is still chasing the remaining 3 GMs. She wants to know if there is anything that they could do. Hines tells her that Maharaja has an emergency reboot protocol, but he is worried about life support systems as well as the possibility of losing all data. It is truly a last resort. The one EFF guy hacking into Axis is going to stay behind, while the rest of the team is trying to make it to the Magellan-class ship. They need someone to stay behind and control all the doors. He says that he will come back for him. The sucker that was convinced by an EFF soldier is prepping the ship with supplies. After finishing his job, he realizes that something doesn't seem right about this operation. Good job, buddy. Haman gets in the Schneeweiss. She realizes that it is prepped for testing and that she doesn't have access to a beam rifle or access to her bits. All she has to work with is the beam saber. She is nervous about her first close-range combat. As the EFF soldiers make their way to the ship, that dumb Axis soldier actually takes action and begins firing on the prisoners. Meanwhile, only 2 soldiers are now with Oksana. She uses this opportunity to take out 2 men while giving you sick degenerates a nice panty shot. She apparently has some kind of combat training. The 2 soldiers she knocked out gets up and rendezvous with the rest of the EFF team. Natalie's sick hacker skills is giving the EFF hacker a run for his money. You will have to stay behind and deal with her while the Magellan escapes. Haman is able to catch up with the 3 GMs. 2 escape while 1 goes for the attack. They engage in battle. Char is able to sense Haman. The ghost of Lala tells him to go to her. He is distracted for a moment. Rakan comes in and tries to shoot him down, but Char is still fast and able to dodge. He tells the team that he is going back to Axis briefly while everyone continues training. The GM soldier and Haman continue their battle. She is holding her own, but her beam saber isn't going to last long. The EFF soldier is taking out all her hatred towards Xeon onto Haman. She is able to sense all the hatred on the battlefield and wonders why there is so much hate in the world. She calls out for Char. Haman is in the Schneeweiss, fighting the stolen GMs. The EFF soldier continues spouting hatred towards her. Haman has never experienced this level of hatred directed towards her before. After the fighting broke out, Oksana was able to escape. She is trying to find someone to help, but no one is around. She eventually runs into a room where Axis soldiers have been hanging out for a few hours. They wonder how she was able to open the doors. She informs the soldiers that EFF prisoners have escaped. Eddie, the EFF hacker that stayed behind, removes the release locks from the Magellan-class ship. They proceed to make their escape. Natalie informs Hines about the escaped ship. It seems they have no choice but to use Maharaja Khan's secret codes to reinitialize the Axis control system. Natalie tells Hines to give her 3 more minutes. Eddie tries to open the gate for the escapees, but Natalie is able to stop the hangar door from opening. Eddie can't make it to the ship in time. He is going to have to stay behind. He tries to crash the entire system. Natalie recognizes this. They have no choice but to get the Admiral to authorize reinitialization. Hines gets authorization. But before he initializes the code, Natalie tells him to stop. It appears that the hacker has been captured. It just so happens that Oksana and the soldiers that she rounded up were able to capture Eddie. Axis barely avoided nuking their servers, essentially. This is no time to rest, however. The command center sends out an emergency order to have all mobile suit pilots on standby. Back in space, Haman is able to destroy the GM. She chases towards the ship and remaining GMs. The EFF soldiers are able to destroy the hangar door and are able to continue their escape. Haman approaches the team, but she is unable to get close enough to use her beam saber. They are able to surround and capture her. They force her out of her cockpit and they take Haman as a prisoner. Char returns to the battlefield to see all hell is breaking loose. He finds the Schneeweiss with no pilot. On Axis, communications have finally been restored. Natalie is able to pick up Char's Gelgoog on the radar. She catches him up on the situation. Char chases and finds the EFF team with Haman. The EFF team tells him not to get any closer or they will squash her like a bug. Char will be unable to hit the mobile suits without harming Haman. This is quite a sticky situation he has found himself in. He can't let them dock with the ship either, or saving her will be even more difficult. Natalie blames herself for sending Haman on the battlefield. He wants her to send out a mobile suit team, but it is taking some time for them to launch. EFF loses contact with Eddie the hacker. They make their way through the asteroid belt. There, they will head towards the sun and hope someone finds them once they reach Mars. The Magellan tells the remaining GMs to dock with the ship. Back on Axis, systems are online and everyone is no longer locked in their rooms. Enzo goes and yells at the command center for letting this happen. He is afraid that he has lost face. They catch him up on everything that has been happening. Natalie apologizes to Ferdinand, the actual computer guy, but he tells her that she actually did a really good job. He takes over for her. Hines communicates with Khan. The Admiral allows Enzo to fix the problem that he created, but Hines isn't so sure. Back in the hangar, one of the GMs that Monica attacked is still there. They are using their Vulcans to prevent any other Xeon forces from getting close to their mobile suits. He is sacrificing himself to allow the Magellan to make their escape. The GM runs out of Vulcans. All that is left is the beam saber. Monica, in her Gelgoog, returns to the hangar to see that the GM is still there. She slowly approaches him with the intention of destroying her unit, but she is too slow. The GM takes out their beam saber and stabs itself in the chest, exploding the reactor. Char still chases the Magellan, but maintaining a good distance. Suddenly, a bazooka blast comes out of nowhere. In the distance is the Rick-Dom Zwei. It is Rakan. He comes in with the quickness. EFF assumes Rakan doesn't even know that they have a prisoner. They fire directly at him. The Dom doesn't dodge, but rather rushes towards EFF. Rakan is getting reckless, but he knows exactly what he is doing. As the team has their focus on Rakan, that is when Char comes in and slices the GM's arm and grabs him on. He lets her drift off for a second while he fights the GM. Char uses the missile pods from the forearm. The GM blocks the attack, but the Gelgoog throws his shield. This distracts the GM and allows Char to slice through the mobile suit with his beam saber. Rakan and Char regroup. It is time for them to now take out the Magellan. The EFF ship is moving fast and getting reckless. They are making the assumption that all enemies will be behind them. They spot a red Gelgoog. The captain wonders if this is the Red Comet. Char wants to pull Haman into the Gelgoog cockpit, but he can't because he never wears a spacesuit. Good job, Char. While they are talking, the Magellan fires on Char's Gelgoog. He is able to do his best Mulaflaga impression and tanks the twin megaparticle cannon blast. The ship is moving into the previous Axis battlefield, so Minovsky particle density is high. Char hands off Haman to Rakan so he can get into his cockpit. Back at Axis, Enzo orders everyone to fire on the ship and launch mobile suits against Natalie's advisement. The escaped ship notices this. The captain of the Magellan is hesitant because EFF soldiers are still on Axis, but he decides to fire on the asteroid anyways. They fire and hit Axis. Natalie suggests closing off all sections but infield. This will restrict all areas from being attacked except for the hangar carrying most of the mobile suits. They finally launch mobile suits, but it is too late. They are getting too close to the shoal zone. Maharaja Khan gets a hold of Natalie. She informs him that Haman went out into battle, but is currently safe with Rakan. She gets him in contact with Char. He wants him to use discretion with the current situation, but Char knows that this most likely is not possible. Most of his propellant is out as he used most of it during the training exercise. He looks over to Rakan and his bazooka. Once the Magellan makes it to the shoal zone, they will most likely cut off their thrusters. That is the only time that Char has to make his attack. Surely enough, as the ship makes its way into the debris, they cut off the engines. Char fires the bazooka and gets a shot right in the back of the thrusters, destroying the ship. Char says that this leaves a bad taste in his mouth. Andy and Ricardo are still out training. They see a giant explosion and make their way back to the asteroid. Everyone docks. Natalie awaits Rakan and Haman. Enzo makes his way to the hangar. They roll out Monica's body. She did not make it after the GM destroyed its fusion reactor. Char gets out of his mobile suit and heads directly to Enzo. He thanks Char, but Char punches him in the face. He puts Monica's death entirely on Enzo. Oksana is showing off a new hot springs that I guess she helped create. She is trying to create a retreat for those in Axis that needs to get away for a little bit. They're confused by the hot springs and weirded out that they are naked. She is expressing what most of the Western world's first reactions to getting naked in public around children typically is. You get used to it. Haman and Natalie is bumming Oksana out, so she goes elsewhere. The two still have the battle on their minds. Natalie once again apologizes to Haman, but she has come to terms with the battle. Natalie suggests that she stop fighting and go the path of being a politician, but Haman says that she has chosen her path as being a pilot. The two seem to begin opening up with one another. During the previous battle, 47 out of the 48 Federation soldiers involved in the escape attempt died. 4 Xeon soldiers were also killed in action, including Lieutenant Monica. Remember last video, Enzo mentioned that there wasn't a lot of attention put into handling the transition of EFF prisoners. Because of this, they held a court-martial for Captain Enzo, but he was able to argue that Admiral Khan gave Oksana access to military sectors, allowing the hackers to take control of the systems. In the end, he wasn't court-martialed, but given a 30-day no-pay suspension. Admiral Khan also had to take some blame as well. It is clear that the minimal efforts are in fact to try to get access to throw themselves into another war. They understand that Char is getting great support throughout the asteroid, and if more people lean towards the ideals of Char, they are essentially becoming pro-Maharaja Khan. The pro-ceasefire movement is stronger than those who seek war. It is up to them to actually take things into their own hands. They can't simply rely on incompetence to push the people of Axis towards war anymore. They plan on using the Zabi name to help them with their cause. On top of that, of course, Enzo's pride is hurt by Char, who even though they are the same rank, he is significantly younger than he is. Also, this asshole is holding a meeting and discussing treasonous acts while wearing a cardigan. And you know how we feel about cardigans. Get out of here with that. I can't take you seriously. Meanwhile, Haman and Natalie leave the hot springs, better friends than ever. A team is out at an asteroid field near Axis. These test pilots are piloting the new prototype Gazas. They are construction workers, but they want to turn them into mobile suits. Char is monitoring the test pilots. He wants to meet with them. He heads to the hangar to praise their piloting skills. This is Pampa, Bean, and Wim. If these names sound familiar, these 3 make up the Gaza Storm, the first team of Gaza D pilots in Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. Seeing them as the first Gaza pilots, it makes sense that these were the Gaza D pilots of choice. As they thank Char, Oksana comes over. She notes that the test pilots are civilians. She is still trying to push Char into visiting Side 3. Someone is listening to their conversation. Later, Char and Hines meet with Admiral Maharaja Khan. Both Char and Hines are still mad about Enzo for being incompetent. Khan believes that Enzo's faction should be able to exist in an ideal world where the people of Zeon are free. They should be able to express their freedom by forming said faction. Char notes that Khan certainly does think far ahead. He wonders if his life of revenge on the Zabis have any meaning. Khan says that if EFF prisoners were to escape, head back to Earth, and return with a fleet, he would still try to open up negotiations instead of fight. Meanwhile, Enzo is no longer on paid leave and is back at his post. They ordered someone to tail Char and got intel that Oksana is trying to get Char to visit Side 3. Enzo isn't sure of the Admiral's intentions, but he thinks he could use this to his advantage. Haman returns from running training exercises on her Schnee Weiss. Even though she has drastically improved her mobility in this unit, she still thinks that the Psychomu system is too big. Char notes that the Psychomu system in the Schnee Weiss is 1/3 the size of the Elmith. It is small, but it needs to be smaller. They meet with Commander Jürgen Schneider, manager of Mobile Suit Development. With him is Sumari Hongo. She is conducting research on miniaturizing the Psychomu system. She is also familiar with Natalie as they both went to Officers Academy together. Sumari wants to create a Psychomu system that is built internally within the mobile suit instead of attaching it to a backpack. She explains that she also wants to create a smaller bit system that can be stored internally as well. Haman goes to change. As she passes some random common room, soldiers are talking about a rumor that Haman might go to Side 3. In the mess hall, Enzo meets with Commander Michael about the rumor going around about Haman. He wonders if it is too good to be true. He says that if Haman were to rule Axis, it would be beneficial for her. Michael says that even though it is a rumor, maybe they should actually consider it. With the help of Enzo, what began as a rumor became a full-out voyage to the Earth sphere. Of course, Enzo nominated Char to be the captain of the ship. It typically takes more than half a year to return, but they upgraded a Zanzibar to reduce the journey to about 160 days. Char meets with Lamia, one of Minerva's handmaidens. He asks her to be his eyes and ears while he is out on his travels. Oksana meets with the Admiral. Even though we still don't know their motives, it is clear they both want Char to once again become Casseval Rem Daikun. Natalie is also heading out on the voyage. Enzo has a secret mission for her to carry out while on her journey. Char gets a visit from Haman. She wants to know if people respect her or if she is just a Nepo baby getting special treatment. Psst. All third-generation Zeonic Spacenoids are Nepo babies. Char says that she is a value to the people of Axis. She then yells at him, wondering why everyone treats her like a child. She grabs Char's hand and forces him to grab her boobs. I mean, putting someone in an awkward statutory rape situation doesn't really help your argument of not being a child. Also, nice. Remember, at the beginning of our coverage, we learned that Natalie is a part of Enzo's team, but she isn't a part of their treasonous acts. They have been keeping her in the dark. Enzo and the team just flat out tell her everything. They tell her about how they were the reason the EFF soldiers escaped so easily. He tells her that Natalie's rise in the ranks was due to Enzo. He is emotionally manipulating her into feeling like she has a duty to help out Enzo's team. She asks him what she needs to do. In the hangar, Andy is heading out to Side 3, but Ricardo is staying behind. They say their farewells. Natalie is looking quite glum after learning about a little bit of treason. Everyone is waiting on Haman. As she enters the hangar, everyone gazes upon her. She has cut her hair. She now looks like the Thing from The Thing. A few hours earlier, Haman is haunted by her insecurities. She decides to cut her hair to show that she is an adult. However, as everyone comments on her hair, she shrugs it off as no big deal. Ugh, teenagers. Admiral Maharaja Khan salutes the crew and wishes them a safe journey. Amongst the crew, one member happens to be a mole for Enzo. Enzo's men notes that their mole is quite the playboy. The bridge crew heads to the bridge and introduces one another. CPO Ue will be the helmsman. Second PO, Cindy Rosa, will be the communications officer. First PO, Sergei Titov, will be working navigation. CPO Kamenoza will be handling battery. First PO Reina and CPO Lulu will be the ship operators. Ensign Fabian Rioschnecht will be the vice captain. He happens to be Enzo's mole. He instantly starts wooing Haman by saying he is merely here because of her. Of course, Natalie and Andy will be working shifts on the bridge. Doing something? The Zanzibar ship, the Ingolstadt, launches and they begin their voyage to Side 3. December of UC 0082. It has been 85 days since the Ingolstadt departed from Axis. They have finally reached maximum speeds. Andy comes into the bridge to relieve Char of duty, but he wants to let the crew rest. Andy knows that Axis is on his mind. Of course, Char is certain that Enzo had a hand in him leaving to Side 3. Andy calms his mind by saying that the Admiral and Hines can handle it on their own. Plus, if anything goes bad, Ricardo has a secret key that allows him to send a transmission to their Zanzibar. Char hopes that he doesn't receive such a transmission. He is now relaxed and lets Andy take over on the bridge. Back on Axis, Ricardo is simply over the Axis branded sake. The bartender says that he does have some good stuff from the Earth sphere, but don't tell the other soldiers. I guess the bartender doesn't know that Ricardo is also a soldier. The bartender turns on the TV to a special interview happening with Enzo. Enzo is riling up the people and asking if they don't strike EFF now, then when. Hines and the Admiral are watching. Hines is furious, but Khan is still being delusionally optimistic. Of course, he notes that this is a problem because they have no proof that he did anything wrong to begin with. Meanwhile, out in space, a Salamis-class ship, the Hampton, is drifting through space. This is the ship that bailed during the Battle of Axis. Their navigations are broken and they are trying to head to Mars. One man informs the captain that their rations are quite low and 3 men committed suicide to help the other men survive. They are getting quite desperate. That is when the Salamis picks up a Xeon cargo ship. They plan on pillaging the ship in order to survive. Char takes a break and enjoys a midnight meal. Some of the crew members come to talk to him. It is clear that Char is still quite popular amongst the people of Xeon, especially the ladies. Haman notices all the girls gushing over Char, and she becomes sad. As she holds back tears, Fabian comes to greet her. He tells her that he was formerly a mobile suit pilot and asked Enzo for a favor on this mission. He shows her his new mobile suit. It is the Comfer. Back on the bridge, Andy notices a ship approaching their location. One of the girls in the mess hall informs Char of the situation. He wonders if this is the ship that fled during the Battle of Axis. They wake up everyone. Since Fabian was in the hangar, he is ready to go on standby in his Comfer. This mission involves Haman making it to Side 3, so they can't allow her to sortie. Char tells Natalie to take Haman and Oksana to the escape pod just in case. Of course, Haman wants to fight and is trying to ignore orders. EFF realizes that they are ignoring their demands and fires at them, but they are moving too fast. Fabian also wants to go out, but they are moving too fast and they can't slow down, and he might not be able to catch up with them. I mean, if it took you 85 days to reach those speeds, I wouldn't want to slow down either. It seems the Salamis is in their path. At these speeds, they are going to crash. The Zanzibar uses their Vernier thrusters to avoid crashing with the EFF ship. It is a close call. The Zanzibar makes contact with the Salamis. Natalie informs him of a leak in the thrusters. If that ignites, they will explode. Char lets Fabian go out and investigate. He realizes that the ship is going to have to completely remove the thruster. Fabian is able to rip it off the ship, but he is still attached to the thruster. It explodes. They think that Fabian also exploded. They lose communication with him. Natalie begins sweeping the area. Fabian is alive, but the explosion caused his comms to go down. At his speed, he might not be able to catch up with the ship. 2 minutes go by. 5 minutes. No signal from Fabian. Haman says to give it 1 more minute. Suddenly, they spot him on radar. Andy goes out in a Zaku to catch him and pull him back to the ship. Everyone in the hangar celebrates Fabian's return. January 10th, UC 0083. Natalie and Oksana are planning a 16th birthday party for Haman. 2 men argue about helping Haman out, but Fabian comes in and punches the 2 men, telling them to be more civil in the presence of a lady. In the mess hall, everyone celebrates Haman's birthday. The 2 men who are fighting give Haman a flower. Fabian also gives her a giant bouquet of flowers. On the bridge, Andy and Char discuss Fabian. Andy thinks that Fabian is quite young still, but with the right training, he could be a great mobile suit pilot. But Char tells Andy to not give him any opportunities. He goes to visit Haman and tells her to stay away from Fabian, but doesn't really give her any reason why. Meanwhile, Natalie overhears Fabian talking to the 2 men that started a fight earlier. It seems that the situation was all planned, and they're scheming for Enzo. Natalie approaches Fabian and demands to know his intentions, but he says that he is quite aware of her mission for Enzo, and she won't be saying anything to anyone. He seems to have all the cards here. There really is nothing Natalie can do, and she has found herself in a weird situation. Natalie is in front of her computer zoning out, thinking about what she has to do. She flashes back to when Enzo gave her the mission. It is actually quite simple, and probably what you expected it to be. All Enzo wants is for Natalie to tempt Char and sway him to join Enzo's faction, restarting the war for independence. Enzo calls her an attractive woman, insinuating that she should sexually tempt Char as well. Okay, not so simple, never mind. While distracted, she gets a call from Char. They're having an emergency meeting, and he wants her to find Fabian. Fabian is in the mess hall talking to Haman. He mentions he was a recruit at the end of the 1-year war and only shot down 3 balls. He is being modest. Natalie comes in and informs him of the meeting. She tells Haman not to hang around Fabian, but Haman is tired of people telling her what to do. At the meeting, they learn that because the booster was destroyed in their previous battle with EFF, they will struggle to slow down at the speeds they are going. They will have to take an even riskier route to be able to slow down and make it to their location on schedule. They could take a safe route, but it will delay their schedule by 20 days, which isn't an option according to Char. After the meeting, Char notices Natalie spacing out again. He says that she could talk to him about anything, but she says this is something that she couldn't discuss with him even if she wanted to. January 21st, UC0083, Mosa. Ricardo is walking around seeing more and more pro-war propaganda everywhere. He notes that this has increased since Enzo gave his interview on the news. He thinks he should contact Char, but it isn't necessarily an emergency just quite yet. A group of young teens are petitioning the military to restart the war for independence. A young girl calls Ricardo Pops. It just so happens to be a young Kara Soon, without her Cyndi Lauper hair. Ricardo yells at the kids for wanting to start another war. He feels so powerless on Axis. Meanwhile, the higher-ups of Axis are having a meeting. They note that there has been an increase in their young signing up to join the military. Maharaja decides to allow Enzo to send a fleet towards the Earth sphere. February 11th, UC0083, led by Commander Yuri Hassler, the Axis Advance Fleet heads towards the Earth sphere. Now here's one inconsistency that we see in CDA, or at least the first that actually bugs me. CDA does have a lot of inconsistencies. In Stardust Memory, it is Haman, who is already in a position of power, who sends out the Advance Fleet to help out with the Delaz Fleet. In CDA, she ain't even on Axis, and they use this opportunity to make Enzo the cause for the advanced fleet. February 28th, UC0083. Far out in space near a shoal zone, an EFF fleet is conducting battle simulations. It seems they are prepping on tightening down on Xeon remnants. The commander preps his team for anything that comes at them. They do training exercises in their GM Type C. The RGM-79C GM Type C, also known as the GM Kai, is a late production variant of the GM with new technologies integrated. Unlike the wartime GM, this had time to properly be developed, and because of this, it is highly stable and reliable. This integrates features from the Type D, also known as the Cold Districts type, and the G type, also known as the GM Command. The head Vulcans have increased ammo capacity. The frame has also been simplified to allow for easy modifications and repairs. This unit was originally going to have the same legs used on Alex Gundam, but it would make the unit too expensive to produce. It is equipped with a beam saber, a bulb-up machine gun, a 90mm GM rifle, the BOA XBR-79 beam rifle, and much, much more. Most GMs are designed to utilize all of EFF's armaments if possible. The Ingolstadt makes it close to the Earth sphere and begins decelerating. As they reach cruising speeds, Char's new type senses go off. They detect Minovsky particles at combat level. It means they are prepared for an attack, but it also means they can't communicate and send reinforcements. They notice that they are running training exercises. It seems they have to do a surprise attack. He heads out with Andy and Fabian and leaves Natalie in command of the Ingolstadt. Natalie tells Oksana to distract Haman so she won't run off in her mobile suit. She breaks her monitor and gets Haman to fix it as a distraction, but she is a new type and fixes it instantly. She keeps Haman there by making her listen to her mixtape. Oh no, that's the worst. Andy wonders if they could trust Fabian. Char tells him that he may be a mole for Enzo, but he isn't an EFF spy, so they all still need each other to survive. Ultimately, the glue that is the desire for Xeon independence keeps these soldiers together. It is a weak glue and can break at any moment, however. Char launches in the Gelgoog Outer Space type. The MS-14U Gelgoog Outer Space type is a heavily modified version of the Gelgoog Commander type and is designed for deep space use. The legs are slimmer than the Commander type. One thing you don't really realize until someone points it out is that the Gelgoog doesn't have Vulcans. This version of the Gelgoog fixes this and increases the overall armaments. It is also equipped with a beam saber, a 110mm machine cannon, a beam rifle, a twin beam sword, and most importantly, a 360mm giant bazooka, originally used by the Dom. It also has a shield and a prototype large beam rifle that is 1.8 times more powerful than the typical beam rifle. I love Xeon units that make the mono eye look like a very angry Cyclops with a furrowed brow. It looks so menacing. This will eventually become Andy's mobile suit of choice until the Rick Diaz. Char gives everyone the prototype beam rifle to use. It has a built-in generator, so even the Zaku could use this weapon. It only has 5 rounds, plans, however. Char is in his Galgoo space type, Andy and Azaku and Fabian in his Comfer. They all launch. They plan on making sure no mobile suits leave the Minosky particle field. The main attack will rely on Natalie in the Ingolstadt. As the EFF fleet continues their training, Char and his team get into position. EFF spots the Ingolstadt, but they aren't in a position to fire yet. Their sneak attack has failed, and it is now up to Char's team to distract them until Natalie could fire. Char begins firing. The GM spread out. Char tells Natalie to fire the beam cannon. She fires and takes out one of the Magellans. One more to go. They have a 100-second cooldown till they can fire the cannon once again. Char notes that they don't have too much real-world experience. Natalie fires a second shot and takes out the second Magellan. Andy and Char go in for melee attacks while Fabian shoots off people trying to escape. Andy is realizing the limitations of his old Zaku. The GM commander notices the red Galgoo tearing through all his team and realizes that this is the red comet. He goes, yeah, F this, and runs away. He tries to convince his team to follow, but they fight him and instantly die. They chase the GM down. The commander is 2 minutes out until he can make radio contact. He notices something on the radar in front of him. He thinks it is reinforcements, but it is actually Xeon. It is a prototype Rick Dom Zwei. This prototype version of the Rick Dom has a lot in common with the Dom Troppen. Char's team and the Dom are able to surround the GM and capture the pilot. Char thanks the Dom pilot. He says his name is Ensign Gerard Sinclair, and he is a part of the Mobile Assault Force 7th Division. He is a part of a small Xeon remnant group that has been hiding out in the Shoal Zone. His team takes the prisoner while Gerard returns the team to the Ingolstadt. Oksana no longer has to distract Haman and goes to get a drink. When he returns, Char relieves Natalie. As she goes to her quarters to rest, she runs into Haman, who is mad that she wasn't informed of the battle. Natalie doesn't have any time or patience for Haman's nonsense currently. Did you have a rough day failing your sneak attack? Take a seat and relax with the warm, bold flavors of Axis coffee service. Nothing says independence like Axis when roasted to perfection. They all relax and note how rusty they have become since the 1-year war. They thank Gerard for all his help. He heads back to his Musai. On his way out, he runs into Haman. He is taken aback by her and wishes he could hang around to talk to her. Haman goes to talk to Char regarding Natalie. Char goes to visit Natalie in her headquarters where she is hanging out in the dark. She is upset about having to kill people today, and Char says you get used to it. Natalie throws herself on Char out of fear. Nice. Gerard's Musai-class ship, the Wimmel, escorts the Ingolstadt to the satellite Ambrosia. They were able to make it to their location in 163 days. March 7th, UC 0083. The Ingolstadt team gets off the ship and feels simulated gravity for the first time in 5 months. They meet with the manager of the base, Eberhard Richter. He tells them that a shuttle will arrive in 4 days to take them to Side 3. Ambrosia is on the other side of the moon, far from Side 3. This is a satellite created from scraps during the end of the 1-year war. Many of the people of Xeon who fled the colonies and didn't end up on Axis came to places like Ambrosia. Now they function as smugglers between the people of Side 3 and the Neon Remnants, as well as Axis. It is a mix of civilians and military remnants, but since they are isolated, the rank in this position is somewhat meaningless and they mainly function as volunteers. Char tasks Haman with taking care of Natalie. He gave her time off while they wait for a shuttle, and he wants Haman to get her back to her old self. Char gives Richter the encryption keys that can be used for Ricardo to contact them. He leaves it in Richter's hands. Char also asks if they can improve the Ingolstadt's speed, even more so than it already is. Richter's engineers will look into it. Andy also wants to take this opportunity to modify his mobile suit as well. The same day that the team makes it to the Earth sphere, on Axis, Heinz has a conversation with Maharaja Khan regarding Captain Enzo's rank. In July of UC 0079, there was a fleet led by Lieutenant Commander Jorg Grafenberg of the 1st Space Attack Force. He was a genius when it came to military strategy. One day, he attacked an EFF base. Enzo, who was a lieutenant at the time, was the closest to Jorg's team. Essentially, Enzo came in to find both Jorg's team and the EFF base destroyed. Enzo really did nothing but took all the credit for the situation. This is also how he met his wife, who turns out to be the niece of Nalis Zabi, wife of Degwin. Heinz says that his quick rise in ranks is because he married into a Nepo baby lifestyle. Maharaja reminds Hines that most Zeon officers are Nepo babies. Maharaja earned respect in Zeon by being a part of Zeon Daikum's secret services. I think you failed at your job, actually. Because of this, he was given command of Axis, and in exchange, Dolzo Zabi took his daughter Marlene as his mistress, which we ever so subtly touch on when we were talking about Shin Matsunaga. But boy, do I want to know more about that story. This shuts up Hines for now, but he is destined on getting hard evidence against Enzo. Maharaja Khan truly believes that when Char returns, he will return as Castle Rem Daikun and assume his rightful place as a leader of Zeon independence. On Earth, the higher-ups, along with Jamatov Hyman, are conducting a meeting. They are informed about the fleet conducting training exercises that have gone missing and are most likely killed in action. They are more mad about losing battleships and mobile suits than losing people. They also haven't heard back from the fleet they sent to Axis. It has been 20 months, and they also have gone radio silent. Hyman says to compensate the families of the dead with a hefty amount of money in exchange for keeping silent. Their next order of events is to discuss their operation on taking care of any remaining Zeon remnants. They plan on launching the operation in 2 days. March 9th, UC 0083. The Federation fleet composed of 6 vessels under command of Vice Admiral Green Wyatt is heading towards the Zebra Zone. Commander Wyatt took this role to help out Hyman. Once they take out the base, they will send out a mobile suit team to finish off the rest. The leader of the mobile suit team is Ben Wooder. Haman and Natalie take a tour of Ambrosia. They are met with Ilya Pazom. She is currently only 12 years old. Ilya will go on to be a subordinate of Glimmy during the Neo-Zeon War and will show up real soon in our coverage of Double Zeta. Meanwhile, in the hangars, Andy is talking with Ambrosia Mechanics about upgrading his Zaku. He brings with him CPO Takayoshi Zuchi, who is the chief mechanic on the Ingolstadt, to help him out. Back on Gerald Sinclair's ship, they are interrogating the prisoner they captured after destroying the EFF training team. Gerald harasses the POW. Gerald is breaking the Antarctic Treaty, but he says that EFF is no longer recognizing their existence, so there is no treaty to uphold. He says that their livestock is getting hungry and threatens to feed them to the pigs. This makes the POW spill the beans. While the gang is having dinner, Gerald comes in asking for Char to come with him. They found out from the prisoner that EFF has sent a fleet towards the Zebra Zone, and they plan on attacking tomorrow. They plan on attacking Varsika. This is where Zeon remnants conduct their intelligence. If EFF gets this base, all Zeon remnants connected to Axis will be exposed. So I imagine Zeon remnants on Earth, like the Rommel Corps, are not a part of this network. Char plans on helping with Ambrosia's defenses. He wants Gerald to help out as well. Andy goes to prep, but realizes that he has no mobile suit. He goes to borrow a Gelgoog for now. Char runs into this guy and says, "I haven't seen you since Abawaku." I am pretty sure it is the guy who gave Char the Jiang. I say this because he talks about being able to reassemble the Jiang after the fall of Abawaku. This is the perfect Jiang. The MSN-02 Perfect Jiang is one of the final products launched by Zeon during the 1-year war. It uses the same Saikomu system that you could find in the high mobility Saikomu Zaku. Its fusion reactor is 3.8 times bigger than the Zaku 2. It also has legs. The thrusters are moved to the legs where they actually belong. The legs actually give this unit less acceleration, but vastly improves the AMBAC system. It has a wired 5-barrel megaparticle gun, a waist megaparticle gun, and a head megaparticle gun. Megaparticle guns everywhere. Char says hello, my old friend. March 11th, UC 0083. They head out with a fleet of 3 Musais, the Wimmel, the Kemmel, and the Umel. The team gathers for a briefing while heading towards Varsika. It will take them roughly 7 hours to get there. The plan is to get to the base, save some data and some people, and head into the debris field to hide out. They believe there are 30 people on Varsika. Fabian and his team will defend Varsika. Andy and his crew will protect Umel, and Gerald will prevent the Federation from closing in on them. 7 hours later, they make it to Varsika, luckily before EFF. Char opens up communication with the base. The leader of the base and his mustache gasp at the sound of Char's name. They must begin evacuation and backup of all important data. The EFF fleet are unsure of their location. They have to get close up on the base, so they send out Wooder and his mobile suit team to scout things out. Char gets into the Jiang. It is so big they had to tow it behind the Musai. He remembers his battle with Amado piloting the Jiang. He is always thinking about his boyfriend. Andy seems to get the hang of the Gelgoog quite easy. The team heads out and they run into the EFF mobile suits. Char uses his mouth megaparticle gun. EFF sends out more GMs. On Varsika, people are starting to evacuate. Back on Ambrosia, Haman and the girls get their hair done. The IT department is currently doing the most intense sysadmin work of their life. Back up the servers before we all explode! Some GMs are getting a little cocky and are destroyed by Char's wired 5-barrel beam cannons. One wonders if the Young pilot is a new type, but even a new type can't handle a war of attrition. GMs just keep coming at him and he begins to struggle. One GM gets in real close. Gerald's Ricnom Swai stops him, but the mobile suit was able to get a direct hit on Varsica. Fabian goes in to protect the base. They plan on destroying the base, so as long as they get the data and civilians off, it should be fine. The attack hits the base during the file transfer. The power goes out for a second, but backup kicks in. However, the loss of power corrupted all the data in the process. They have to start the transfer over. Time is running out. Char wishes that Natalie were here to help. Haman and the girls go to the Black Pearl Beauty Salon where Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom cut their hair. Someone has a lawsuit on their hands. Ilya tells Haman that she lost her sister during the War for Independence and wonders if she could go to Axis to find her. Haman says she will ask Char. Char is still tearing through GMs. The EFF fleet will be in range of Varsica in 2 minutes. One GM pilot, Layla, wants to attack the base directly, but she is ordered to handle the mobile suits. Layla realizes that there must be important data on this base. She is able to get past Fabian and enter the base. They have finally secured the data and begin making their escape. Andy has planted bombs throughout the base and is ready to set off all the explosives. As the final team heads out, Layla stops them and demands they hand over the data. That is when Fabian pounces on her. He realizes it is a woman and says, "Oh well, doesn't matter to me," and punches her in the head. I guess helmet, technically. Layla is able to make her escape. The EFF commander finally is able to pick up the Musais in the rear. They change course and head towards Char's fleet. Fabian makes his escape from Varsica. Andy gets the go-ahead, and they blow up the base. The Musais begin spreading Minovsky particles and deploying dummies. The debris from Varsica is too dense. EFF isn't able to continue their pursuit. The captain says, "Well, the base is destroyed technically, so I call that a win." By his side scoffing is Lieutenant Gaddy, who will go on to captain the Alexandria. Oksana is talking with Kaisis M. Bayer and thanks her for being able to bring Char to the Earthsphere. Char comes to visit his office. He is an old friend of Admiral Maharaja Khan and says that he is everything that Khan said he would be. We will also see Bayer pop up in Char's counterattack in the future. He asks Char if he is familiar with the rumors that Castle Rim Daikum may be alive. Char gets what he's going on about but plays dumb. Bayer is blunt and outright says that he is Castle. Char denies it and says that he believes that coming out of the Daikum closet would be beneficial for his people, but he doesn't force him to admit it. He will wait till they visit Side 3 and ask him again. He did note that Maharaja thinks the same as Bayer. He thought that the Admiral knew his identity but didn't know that they wanted to rely on the Daikum name so heavily. March 13th, UC 0083. Char and the gang finally take a shuttle to head out to the Old Republic of Xeon. Since they are a big crew and need to keep a low profile, they will enter Side 3 in small teams. One crew member, Cindy, is sad that she wasn't on Char's team. Her crewmates tell her to stop acting weird. One person that is on Char's team is Fabian, who used him on to get him on Side 3. Ilya and Gerald wish them farewell. On Jaburo, Hyman is informed of the situation regarding Varsica. He ensures everyone involved has a gag order placed on them. Hyman goes to meet with Admiral Gene Colony. He will play his part in making EFF great again during Stardust Memory. Colony is considering signing off on Hyman's plans of hunting down remaining Xeon remnants. They must first secure the budget and manpower. Of course, they are referring to what will become the Titans. Hines meets with some colleagues. He wants to expose Enzo and his team for conspiring against Axis, but they need to get evidence to bring him to light. Hines is doing this behind the Admiral's back, as his solution is to just let things play out. This may ruin their career in the military, but his comrades still volunteer to help. Ensign Jessica Diaz says that Monica's quarters haven't been touched since she was killed in action. Perhaps that she may have some evidence. Diaz heads to the female officer quarters to find that Monica's room has been cleared out. She tries to track down her belongings, but they were able to find only one notebook. It was already formatted, but they still may be able to extract some data. As the team approaches Side 3, they are stopped before proceeding to the colony. On Side 3, they go full North Korea and give the illusion that the Republic of Xeon still has some autonomy, but in reality, they are at the mercy of EFF. There are many Xeon remnants in the area, so EFF inspects the ship. Char and Haman are pretending to be newlyweds. Suddenly, Gerald followed the team and begins distracting EFF in his Ricnom. They leave Haman's shuttle and begin chasing Gerald. The team proceeds to Side 3. Back at Axis, Hines is defragging a section of the hard drive to find a diary entry. It talks about finding abandoned EFF ships in S-Field. It shows that they were luring EFF into a trap, but it doesn't point any evidence towards Enzo or his team. Hines needs to keep looking. Diaz tells him not to overwork himself, but he didn't hear her because he instantly passed out. Diaz gives him a blanket and a kiss. Nice. Ensign Diaz is in the bath talking to herself about how she is the last of her family and she has to do the best she can for them and for Zeon. She gets a late-night call from Lieutenant Rutger. He seems to have found the location of Lieutenant Monica's belongings. Rutger won't be able to reach it, however, because it is in female quarters. The team has made it to the colony Brutal. It is a tourist colony set up and designed to make it seem like everything is autonomous in the Republic of Zeon. In reality, EFF has a tight grip on Side 3. Andy and Oksana both almost give away their real identities immediately. They all teamed up and are pretending to be each other's fiancé. Natalie, however, is paired up with Fabian. Fabian reminds Natalie of her secret mission. Back on Axis, at Enzo's house, Enzo is yelling at his men for allowing Hines to get a hold of some evidence that may put blame on the Enzo team. Meanwhile, Hines has been able to get into the hard drive and find some interesting evidence. He contacts Maharaja Khan and tells him that he has info that he needs to tell him. He says they will meet at noon the next day. However, the Admiral suddenly collapses. Hines, Diaz, and Rutger go to meet with Maharaja Khan in the medbay. He isn't the young man he once was. Hines decides to withhold the information for now. Because of this, Hines and Khan don't make it to the Axis General Assembly. While they miss the meeting, Enzo used this opportunity to finally get majority consensus towards a military uprising. The majority of Axis higher-ups now believe that they should fight for their independence once again. Later, Ensign Diaz goes to meet with Rutger in a sketchy area of Axis. However, she is met with a mysterious man holding a gun. The fake couples inside of Side 3 make their way to Lake Conacher. Oksana says that Haman and Char should take a photo. The two pose. The photo that they take is from the memory that Camille sees of Haman when they engage in battle during the Grips conflict. Yeah, this is one of those moments where you didn't have to explain the backstory. Leave a little mystery. The team is finished with their visit to Brutal. On the colony, they could use an inter-colony shuttle to head to Colony 1 of Side 3, the capital, aka Zoom City. As they reach the spaceport, they look out to see the Zabi Castle still standing. It is now a government building for the Republic of Zeon. Enzo and his men are visiting the Admiral in the hospital. As they make their leave, Commander Irina comes to visit. She doesn't want to stress him out more, but she knows things are looking grim. He believes things will soon calm down and stabilize. Again, the story keeps telling me that Maharaja Khan is very smart, but it certainly isn't showing me that he is smart. The team is making their way through downtown when suddenly someone yells, "Stop, Zeon remnants!" It freaks the team out, but the EFF, Autonomous Peacekeeping Force, is after someone else. Fabian trips the EFF detective, and Andy helps by getting in the way. Oksana comes to get him out of a situation with EFF. They meet with their contact Georgius, or Giorgio according to the wiki, but I'm going with Georgius. He used to be an EFF mobile suit pilot. He still is, but he also used to be one. He was a Zeon cadet when the war came to an end. They forced him to essentially start his mobile suit career as an EFF pilot instead of a Zeon pilot, doing missions that go against their desire for independence. They are walking through a maintenance shaft that even EFF doesn't really stumble through. It helps Zeon remnants operate in the shadows of Side 3. They get some rest while Georgius tells him about the areas still unoccupied. He tells Char of Dr. Flanagan's old lab. Of course, this reminds him of Lala. Dr. Flanagan and the Flanagan Institute is the reason that Char knows Lala. I mean, unless you go by origin canon where Char met him pre-1 Year War, but The man takes Ensign Diaz to a cell. He thinks that he is with Enzo, but he claims that he is working on his own accord. In the cell is also Rutger. They are both relieved that they didn't rat each other out. The two begin talking out loud blatantly about Hines defragging the hard drive to get evidence on Enzo. You don't want to check for a wire, a security camera, anything? Just talking about your plans out loud, huh? Of course, the mysterious man is listening in on their conversation, and of course, he lied about working with Enzo. His next move is to use Diaz to lure out Hines. Georges takes the gang to meet with Herman Schmidt, the director of the building that houses some people that are trying to help the cause. They had to move from place to place, but soon they will have to close down, as Zeon Remnant actions have intensified over the past year, and EFF is locking down the rules. A young girl calls out to Georges. Georges introduces to the team his sister, Nanai. Nanai will go on to be director of Neo-Zeon New Type Labs and will also become Char's lover. Char looks at the New Type brainwave monitoring table. We get a flashback where Lala wants Char to get in the chair, but he doesn't want to. It is clear he came to just visit Lala. He gets in the chair just for her. As Char is experiencing this memory, Haman is able to sense it. This causes her to ruin her own mood. Natalie takes her to go get some rest, but Fabian walks in and tells Natalie that he will handle it and that she should focus on her other mission. He literally shoves her out. Nanai tells Char that Dr. Flanagan's new type data is all hidden behind a password-locked system. Char mentions that Lala's data should be on a backed up notebook somewhere. Nanai is able to find it, but it is in Sanskrit. Natalie wonders if Haman's new type baby records are somewhere to be found here. Georges wants to have a private word with Char. Fabian and Haman are flirting with one another as Haman calms down. He shares with Haman a time in his past when he experienced bad memories. Haman, with her new type senses, is able to feel Fabian's past bad memories. Fabian then remembers she is a new type and that she is more perceptive than he thought. He will have to make a move fast before Haman figures out his true motives. He changes the subject. Georges just gets right to the point. He wants to know Char's intention when it comes to Xi'an independence. Georges knows that he is Castle Rem Daikum, but that doesn't matter to him. All he actually cares about is fighting with the Red Comet. Georges wants Char to help them establish an armed uprising. That is a lot for Char to take on, but he says that there is no way that Xi'an could win their independence unless EFF is greatly weakened. In the brig, Ensign Diaz tells Rutger, "Hey, what if we just committed suicide so they don't use us?" He says that is crazy, but Diaz calls him a coward and begins attacking him. The soldiers come in and tase her. Perhaps her motives were on point because it appears that this mysterious man is working with Rutger. Hines gets an email saying they will exchange Rutger and Diaz for Monica's notebook. Hines goes to meet with Enzo's men, who puts Rutger and Diaz in the same glass pod that Camille's mom died in. These pods don't usually mean good things. Hines is using the same shuttle he used earlier when he was captured. Diaz apologizes to Hines for putting him in this situation. The soldier says that he is Enrique Munoz. Last time, we learned that during the 1-year war, the Jorg squad was destroyed, fighting Xi'an, and Enzo came in to take the glory. Hines thinks that it was Enzo's fault, but in fact, it was Enrique's squad that attacked the Jorg squad. Enrique was the only surviving member, but Enzo reported that there was no survivors, letting him fly under the radar for the past few years. The two engage in battle, and it is brief, as Enrique is able to destroy Hines' shuttle. Diaz cries out for him. Nanai takes Char and the team out for dinner. Haman asks Nanai if she has a boyfriend in front of Char. Well, this is going to be awkward in 10 years, and one of you is dead. In the room next to them, a bunch of EFF soldiers are getting way too drunk and causing a scene. Fabian goes and punches them for being rude. Char gives the restaurant manager some hush money regarding the entire situation. EFF is investigating Xi'an remnants that they just captured. They find out that Xi'an remnants were able to get mobile suits out of the colony. They prep a mobile suit team to engage with the remaining Xi'an remnants. He says to contact White Base 2. There is no information regarding White Base 2. We have to assume that it is a Pegasus-class ship, no different than the original White Base. Nanai and Oksana go to grab some vehicles while the others wait. Char tells Fabian that he will listen to his orders from now on. On White Base 2, Commander Brendan prepares a mobile suit team, but he is informed that they got into a fight in a restaurant and are out of commission. He has to bring in someone else. Georges comes in and informs the team that Xi'an remnants are being attacked. He has 3 Zaku high mobility types that Char could use. Georges gets a call. Remember, he is a part of EFF, and he has just been called to help White Base 2 crew. It appears he will have to play the role of EFF and fight against Char, the life of a double agent. Haman wants to fight as well, and Char says absolutely not. They take him to the transport ship, the Yuki Mizuki. They meet with Kamuji. Kamuji knows that Georges is a double agent and is used to doing mock battles with him. Natalie will be running command on this mission. Kamuji takes them to the hangar and shows them the Zakus. They haven't seen battle for 4 years, but she has been maintaining them, so they should be good to go. They are informed that Georges will be piloting a Gundam. Fabian looks at the Zaku and notices the colors. It doesn't blatantly say what these units are, and the art is in black and white, but the cover of Volume 10 is a black and purple Zaku, and there are 3 of them. These are the Black Tri-Stars, old high-mobility Zakus. They must have stashed these units after receiving the DOMs. A group of rogue Xi'an remnants are making their way out of Side 3 Colony 2. They happen to be a part of the Delaz fleet. They aren't a part of the main fleet, but they have on board 3 mobile suits and are plotting something. EFF headquarters at the Republic of Xeon plan on leaking information out to the media. They also launch White Base 2. The Xeon News organization picked up the leak information regarding Xeon and EFF working together to take down Xeon remnants. On board, EFF pilots don't want to fly with Georges, a former Xeon, but they have no choice. He will be piloting the G3. Char is giving a briefing to the team on the Yuki Mizuki. They need to stop EFF while a transportation ship makes it out of Federation-controlled territory. Georges will be in the Gundam. They have to make the battle look real without killing Georges. Kamuji says that she has experience doing fake battles with Georges and leaves it to her. Natalie is taking command of the operation. The captain of the ship is Captain Yukika. Natalie will mainly be focusing on mobile suit operation. Kamuji, Fabian, and Char launch in the Black Tri-Star's Zaku 2 high mobility type. Natalie is concerned about Kamuji. She wonders how old she is. Nanai tells her that she is 15, 1 year older than her, which means Nanai is currently only 14. Oh, Char, never change. Nanai tells her that when she was a little kid, she was able to damage 5 GMs, and she definitely exhibits new type potential. She even thinks that Kamuji is most likely stronger than Georges. The Zakus go in and intercept the team of GM Command space types. One of the GMs head directly towards the transport ship. Char goes to handle her. That is when Georges and the G3 makes his appearance on the battlefield. The RX-78-3 G3 Gundam was a part of the RX-78-2 test series. This unit is equipped with the NICN large capacity AI that was also used on the Alex Gundam. Its thermonuclear reactor's output allowed for twice the mobility of the RX-78-2 Gundam. It has a gray and light purpled paint scheme designed for low visibility. It is equipped with 60mm Vulcans, a beam saber, the same beam rifle as the Gundam, the hyper bazooka, a shield, and all the other weapons the Gundam could use. It has a core block system and a magnet coating designed to reduce friction. Back on Side 3, Haman sees the battle on the news. Kamuji begins fighting with Georges. He realizes that she is playing with him. If Georges and Kamuji wasn't faking the fight, he would be done for. While Char fights with the GM heading towards the transport ship, the rest of the GMs try to surround Fabian. He is unable to shake them off. Using an older mobile suit, his propellant is sure to run out first. Haman is still watching on TV and is concerned for Fabian. Kamuji is almost out of ammo. She only has 1 more machine gun round left. With that 1 round, she was able to disable the G3 Gundam's propellant and immobilize the unit. Natalie gets a visual on the units closing in on Fabian. For a moment, she thinks if Fabian is gone, then it would make her life easier. Nanai snaps her out of that thought. She informs Char that Fabian needs help and Kamuji is out too far. He needs to take out this unit before going to help Fabian. He goes 3 times normal speed and catches up with the GM. She begins shooting at the transport ship, but Char destroys her weapon and crushes all the sensors on her head. He doesn't want to kill her. Having only Georges survive would look a little suspicious. Also out in space is a Xeon News shuttle trying to capture the battle. While watching, Haman's new type codependency kicks in and she begins freaking out. Oksana and Andy take her back to her room. Fabian lures one of the GMs close to him so he can engage in close combat, but he has very little time before the other 3 take him out. Char rushes to his aid. The GMs think that they are fighting one of the Black Tri-Stars, but the leader tells them to stop having cold feet. The pilots get orders that Georges has been damaged and they need to focus on the transport ship. They wonder just how strong these units are if they took out Georges. As they head out, 1 unit's arm and head are destroyed. It is Char. He tells Fabian to try not to kill the enemy units. The 2 are able to take out the 4 units. The last guy ends up passing out on his own. Right as they finish, Kamuji meets up with them. They all pull back towards the ship. White Base 2 goes to pick up their downed pilots. One of the EFF soldiers wants to pursue, but Commander Brendan tells him that most of the mobile suits have been immobilized and it was a calculated attack. Brendan is wise enough to know that if they pursue, he will just end up dead. He recognizes that Xeon pilots still have amazing skills, even 3 years after the war. Back on the Yuki Mizuki, the team gets a coded message. They're concerned, but Char believes it is the crew receiving the transport ship. He opens up the comms and is met with Anna Volgato of the Peer Gynt fleet. They are using Musai-class late production types. The Musai-class late production type has 2 main gun turrets added to the bottom of the bow and the rear of the bridge. It also has 10 120mm machine guns for anti-mobile suit purposes. Its design is slightly changed due to the increased strain on the generator. It also has a new and improved Komsai 2. Gato insists that he knows Char's name, but he refuses to tell them. He thanks Char's team and goes on his way. That's it? Okay. Back on Axis, Ricardo is back in the bar watching the news talking about Hines' disappearance. The barkeep thinks that it might be a cover-up. Suddenly, a woman next to Ricardo wakes up from her drunken slumber yelling about wanting to go to war. She sigs at Xeon and passes out again. He didn't realize he was sitting next to a radical. Rutger is finally let out of his cell when he is called by Enzo. Last time, it appeared as though Rutger was helping out Enzo, but we get this confirmed here. He was pretending to be a part of Hines and Maharaja Khan's moderate faction for over 2.5 years. He is the reason Hines is dead. Enzo wants Rutger to do the same to Jessica. Back on Side 3, the boys are taking a shower. There's only female bathrooms available, so the girls are waiting for the boys to finish. Kamuji pushes them into the bathroom. They all give each other a naked salute. Fabian wonders about Kamuji. Char tells him that there are many ways a new type's powers can manifest and consider himself lucky that she is on their side. Ensign Jessica wakes up to see Rutger in the cell with her, still pretending to be a prisoner. They take him away and leave Jessica to rot until she gives up any intel on the moderates. He gives her a bucket for her to poop. The girl at the bar, Yayoi, wakes up in a hotel from her hangover. She wakes up to see Ricardo sitting in the corner. She thinks that he took advantage of her, but he just got her to safety. She happens to be a CPO second class. It has been 3 days, and Jessica hasn't caved yet, or pooped. She's going to die of emaciation, and they have to do something. They can't just let her die. They play a mind game with her where they are taken to Enzo, and Enzo has no idea why they are being held hostage. He plays the sympathy card to them, but still keeps them in a locked room. Rutger starts trying to convince Jessica that the radicals don't seem so bad, but she isn't having any of it. Ricardo goes to visit the Admiral by himself for the first time. He wants to investigate the situation regarding Commander Hines, but Maharaja Khan won't allow it. He doesn't want to lose more good soldiers to something that may be happening behind the scenes. Hines talks to Rutger and Jessica. It seems he wants to use Jessica's willingness to die for Hines to his advantage. While in the hospital, Maharaja Khan reflects on the past. UC-0053, Zeonzum Daikum takes office in Side 3. He joins the cause for Contolism along with Degwin Soto Zabi. He eventually found his wife, Rachel, and in UC-0059, he had his first child, Marlene. UC-0067. The Zabi and Daikum family began fighting with one another. Maharaja acts as a moderator between Zeon and Degwin so the party doesn't get destroyed from the inside. During this time, his second daughter, Haman, was born. And then we reach UC-0068. Zeonzum Daikum dies. Everyone except for him was ousted for being Zeon loyalists. He wanted to stay on to fight for the cause, but the Principality of Zeon soon became a military state. Maharaja had his doubts surrounding Daikum's death, but he said or did nothing about it. UC-0071, his third daughter, Durana, was born. Zeon began looking for somewhere to mine resources away from the prying eyes of EFF. This is when Axis was born. Also during this time, his wife's illness got worse and she passed away. The Zabi family invited him to a ball where they started getting weary of him lamenting over his wife. To appease the Zabis, Khan allowed Haman to join the new type labs. Along with that, his oldest daughter, Marlene, was promised to Dozel Zabi, but he ended up just using her as a concubine. Dozel Zabi was a lovable villain with the heart of gold if you just watched the anime. Turns out he was a sex pest. His relationship with the Zabis became more strained, until Dozel and Caecilia made him the commander of Axis. He would have to leave his daughters in the motherland. After 10 months in UC-0078, he arrives at Axis. Of course, a year later, the war broke out. They began development of MOSA for civilians, which allowed for his daughters to finally come to Axis. The war took a turn for the worse. Slowly, mobile suit production started happening at the asteroid, and then slowly it became another military base. The war ended and many fled to Axis as their homeland was dismantled. Enzo brought a huge force with him to Axis and was named advisor. Also, his two younger daughters finally made it to the asteroid. Marlene was forced to stay behind until the ceasefire ends. Eventually, she passed away before she was able to make it back. You know the rest of the story. Char came to Axis, and Haman became an unexpected leader of the people. Maharaja hopes that Char returns to Axis as Casseval. Back on Side 3, Haman and Char are appalled by the state of the Republic. Char believes that in its current state, the will of the people isn't strong enough for revolution. Georges agrees with Char's assessment. Back on Axis, it seems that Enzo and his team was able to break Jessica's will as she is now helping the radical faction. Zoom City. The team is getting some rest after the recent battle. Char is on the sofa. Haman comes in and asks if they want to switch for the night. Char tells her that it is his duty to protect her, unless him being on the couch is really worrying to her. She says that that is fine and tries to go back to bed. In another room, Andy and Fabian are bunking it up. He wonders if Andy likes him. He is softened up to Andy. and he also says he isn't too bad of a pilot as well. Andy looked at the battle data from the previous battle and congratulates him on handling a 4v1 situation quite well. In another room, Natalie is finishing her shower when Oksana heads out. She says not to mention this to the captain. Kaisis M. Bayer is heading out to the club for a little bit of indulgence. He meets with Oksana, along with other ladies. Nice. Kaisis wonders if Oksana's plan to win over Char and push him towards war is working. She says quite the opposite. He is motivated to wait it out longer. Kaisis suggests that they take them to the Zeon Museum, but they can't use Nanai, so they end up using Kamuji. Char, Haman, and Kamuji head to the museum. They are concerned for what they are about to see. Meanwhile, Natalie is amazed by all the data Nanai has collected about new types. Remember, she becomes Neo-Zeon's director of new type labs. She tries to explain to Natalie different attributes regarding new types. For example, Kamuji is an amazing pilot, but she is weak in the hostility attribute. Because she is weak in one attribute, she can't control funnels, even though her attributes in other areas are very high. Nanai believes she exhibits new type potential, but because she can't control funnels and lacks in one area, she isn't a new type. She doesn't outright say it, but this is assuming low aggression improves new type potential. Also, it should be noted that the opposite of this aggressive feeling is compassion, something that Nanai or Mesta runs away from in Beltachika's children, and more importantly, something that Amado is high in. However, they are still in the infancy phase when it comes to understanding new types and haven't completely figured it out. Also, the wiki says that Kamuji is a new type. You are wrong, wiki. Wrong. Although considering they don't know new types well yet, it could be that Nanai is also wrong. She mentions that there was a rise in Haman's natural state as there was a rise in data since UC0081 and wonders what that is. Natalie says that is when she met Haman for the first time. She then starts to question if she is the reason for Haman's behavior and begins denying Nanai's data. Nanai goes, "Girl, don't you dare deny my data." She then looks at the monitor and asks, "Who is this?" Nanai has no idea. She points to a girl named Yayoi. Meanwhile, on Axis, Ricardo went to Maharaja Khan to ask him to investigate the Enzo faction, but he was denied permission. Ricardo is going rogue on this mission and is a little anxious. He goes to spy on Yayoi in the Department of Welfare Division. He goes to see Yayoi serving drinks like a woman in the US from the 50s, or a woman in Japan from 2024. Oh, got him, Japan!
Strike!
Yayoi thinks she sees Ricardo, but then walks away. Once gone, Ricardo goes in and asks Yayoi's CO that he received orders from a higher-up to conduct a background check on the petty officer. The commanding officer says that she is a petty officer second class due to a military error, and that she says she should be a CPO. However, he and the team believe that she should be a seaman second class. I assume this is a translation issue, and he said ni tohe, which is a crewman second class for a space unit and a private second class for a ground unit, and that is the lowest rank in Zeon's military. Ricardo wonders why they think that is. It seems that she isn't good at her job. She has made countless errors and miscalculations. They essentially only use her for trash and drink duty. They assume that she was demoted for obvious reasons. Although very, very weird, Ricardo finds this rather harmless. Meanwhile, Enzo's faction is having a meeting with the newly brainwashed Jessica, who has been broken from being jailed and manipulated with the help of Rudker. Jessica wants to finish the report on the recently missing Enzo. She wants to do this to prove her worth. Rudker wonders if they can trust her, but Enzo allows her to follow through, and if it comes to it, they will simply kill her. Kamuji, Haman, and Char begin their tour. As expected, they run into a lot of fabricated history that leans in favor of EFF. Char mentions that their historical artifacts are still a piece of Zeon history, regardless of the propaganda that they are trying to perpetuate. They have on display the Daikum homestead. This reminds Char of a memory where Sayla was running as a child and fell. She began crying, and the young Casseval came to comfort her. Haman senses this memory. They finish the tour and head out to a building where Kamuji runs her trading company. She steps out for a moment. Char reflects and notes that history is rewritten by the winners. Haman asks Char about her young sister. She said that she read his mind in the museum and saw his childhood. Char snaps at Haman, telling her that just because she is a new type doesn't give her the right to read people's minds. This causes her to cry and run out of the room. She runs out into Zoom City, even though they are supposed to be laying low. Char calls himself an idiot. It is currently 3 a.m. as Kamuji and Char go to look for Haman. At that same time, Natalie is still studying data with Nanai. She realizes that it is late and takes her leave. Before leaving, Nanai asks if the captain was interested in anyone currently. Natalie says that she doesn't think so. Nanai was certain that Natalie was the one. She laughs it off. After she leaves, Nanai notes that she also has data on Lala Soon, but didn't tell Natalie. She begins analyzing it, which is interesting because in Beltachika's Children, which was written 5 years after Char's deleted affair, Mesta doesn't seem to learn about data on Lala until UC 0093. Canon, how does it work? Haman is hiding out in Kamuji's room. She watches her while Char gets some rest. In the S-Field asteroid belt near Axis, Ensign Jessica is inspecting the area. On a spacewalk, she picks up something from Heinz's attack. It has been 2 days since Char snapped at Haman. She hasn't really eaten anything and is still hanging out in Kamuji's room. Natalie, Char, and Kamuji are concerned about her. Natalie goes to see if she could help. Enzo and his team is looking over Jessica's report. Rutger is still concerned about trusting her, but they went through it and it is a sound report and a great excuse for releasing the report as an accident. Enzo thinks they could trust her for now. Later, they have a meeting of higher-ups where they increase mobile suit production along with recruiting civilians to fill all the pilots' roles. He also believes that they won't be staying out in the asteroid belt for too long and they must make moves to return to the Earth sphere. He believes that they will need to create nuclear thrusters on Axis to make it happen. He puts it to a vote. This is apparently all aired live, where Ricardo and the bartender of his favorite tavern are watching on. The bartender believes that the hardliners have made a move since the Major fell ill. He ends the meeting by announcing that Commander Heinz was killed in an accident. This makes Ricardo mad and snaps him out of his drunken stupor. He finally thinks that it is time to contact the captain. Remember, Ricardo was given an encrypted communication line to talk directly to the captain if anything goes bad. He thinks that things have finally gone bad. But remember, they left the communication receiver in Ambrosia. Ebonheart receives Ricardo's message. He then sends the message to Char on Side 3. Then why give it to Ebonheart and why send it without an encryption? This all made... never mind. Char gives the encoded message to Natalie to decrypt. She finds out that Heinz is dead and Maharaja Khan has fallen ill. He gathers the team to inform them of the current situation and says that their mission is cancelled. They are returning to Axis. They also want to not tell Haman about her father's health. They are leaving in 36 hours. Georges wants to join them, but he finally is being transferred to an office job, so he no longer will have to fight the people that he empathizes with. Kamuji decides to escort them to Ambrosia. Char says that the return to Axis is now a military operation, so Oksana is no longer needed and dismissed. She wants to return to Axis, but she isn't military personnel. Fabian suggests that they allow the team to have leave since they will be cramped up on a ship once again for months. Char allows it. Natalie and Fabian meet up. He plans on carrying out his plan for Enzo, and Natalie has to finally make moves on the captain. She is worried, but Fabian tells her, "Don't worry, girl. I saw that body in the shower the other day. You got a good body." She is embarrassed. Fabian wants to get Haman alone, but he has to take care of the others while making his moves. Andy and Oksana meet up confused about who set up the meeting. Instead of, assuming something fishy is happening, both assume the other is into each other and they just kind of go with it and get drunk. Fabian goes to meet with Haman. Kamuji wonders what he is doing there. He says that Haman invited him, but she could sense that that is a lie. She may not be able to control funnels, but she still has new type powers. Haman was heading out anyways, so Fabian and her go to hang out. Meanwhile, Natalie goes to have a drink with Char. She is nervous and Char can instantly see through her plan. He wonders if Enzo put her up to this. Her silence says everything. She confides in him and says that she is always nervous around the captain. Char could tell that she is nervous because he asked about Enzo and she went off on a tangent. But even through all of that, he sees that her feelings are still genuine and reciprocates by kissing her. Nice. It is now April of UC 0083. Char received a message of Heinz's death, and they plan on heading back to Axis tomorrow. In the meantime, Fabian is hanging out with Haman in Zoom City. He is trying to put Haman at ease. She hasn't eaten in quite some time. Fabian has thought ahead and made a reservation at a restaurant. Meanwhile, Char and Natalie put and then they penetrate, and then they decide to use just 2 fingers, and then they call room service because those sheets are wrecked. Haman and Fabian are out at an amusement park having a good time. After they get some food and have a little bit of fun, Fabian invites her back to his room. Haman still has the argument with Char in her mind. She tells Fabian that she has strong feelings towards the captain. Fabian wonders if it is love. Haman doesn't think it is. Perhaps admiration, but she says that she doesn't have this feeling towards others she admires. Fabian tries to get her mind off of the captain by kissing her. She doesn't feel the same way towards Fabian. Naturally, he responds by forcing himself on her. After they change sheets, Char and Natalie are cuddling in bed. She tells Char how she was promoted from warrant officer to junior grade lieutenant by Enzo and his faction, so she felt an obligation to his team to a certain extent. Char says that she could have been promoted based on her merits and shouldn't feel obligations. That is when Natalie remembers Fabian's plans. Damn, Char are so good she forgot about the sabotage. She tells Char that Fabian probably has taken her to their room by now. At the room, Fabian is still trying to force himself on Haman when Char breaks into the room with Natalie. She goes to console Haman while Char punches Fabian in the face. Char grabs Andy and they interrogate Fabian. He spills the beans and tells them that Enzo promised that he would be promoted to lieutenant commander if he was able to successfully win over Haman. Typically, Fabian would be taken to the nearest base and forced to go in front of a military tribunal for his crimes. This would most likely lead to his execution. However, they are undercover in the fatherland. There are no bases and they can't take direct action. So, he decides to strip Fabian of all military authority and abandons him on side 3. Fabian thanks Char as he was fully ready to accept death for his action. The funny part is that Andy is so disappointed in him like a dad. He really wanted the two to become a great team together. Aw, you let Andy down, don't do that. His excellent piloting skills have helped save his life in the end. Fabian is sorry to disappoint Andy. The next day, the team leaves side 3 and heads back to Ambrosia. Kamuji and her team is escorting the Axis team back to Ambrosia. Kamuji says their farewells as they make it back to the satellite. They are welcomed by Ilya, Gerald, and Ebenhard. Gerald notices that Fabian and Oksana are no longer with them. Char tells them that a lot has happened. Haman is hiding her face, and the others wonder if she is okay. They tell them that she is simply feeling under the weather. Remember, the crew went out in groups to not bring attention to themselves. Some of the girls come back early just so they could see Char. They start doing pre-checks on the Ingolstadt's departure. Ebenhard allows Haman to rest in a room until they are ready to leave. Both Natalie and Char blame themselves for having sex instead of being there for Haman. Meanwhile, Andy is looking at his newly repaired Zaku. The Ambrosia mechanics note something weird. There is a part on a Zaku that isn't in the manual. No one knows what it is, but it is also located on Char's unit and Haman's Schneeweiss. Andy wonders if there was one on Fabian's Comfer, but they weren't able to find one. The mechanics think it is Psychomu related, but Andy isn't a new type. They ignore it for now while Andy tests out the new performance of the mobile suit. Andy does seem to ignore a lot of important things. Char talks with the girls to find out that Axis's orbit is heading around the sun, and because so, they could return 40 days earlier than expected. Some of the Ambrosia staff talk to Char. Gerald and Ilya ask if they could join them back on their journey to Axis. He allows it if they could get their affairs in order in 24 hours. The Jiang mechanic begs Char to take back the Jiang with them to Axis. Unfortunately, the Ingolstadt won't have enough room. He is sad knowing that Ambrosia plans on disassembling it. Char lets him know that his work wasn't in vain. You know how many Jiang GUNPLA were sold? You convinced people to buy half a mobile suit with no legs. I think you did a good job, dude. Rest in peace, Perfect Jiang. You finally got legs, but they were cut out from under you once again. Meanwhile, back on Axis, Xion is putting both soldiers and civilians through the simulator. Last episode, Enzo got support to build their army and expand their mobile suit pilots. 2 civilians looking to join up are Mashimer and Karasun. They are tired of waiting in the long civilian section. The two try to sneak into the line for soldiers already a part of Xion looking to become pilots. However, they are stopped by Gotten. They tell the two to go back to the civilian line. Gotten mentions that they are recruiting them quite young these days. It's funny because Gotten will become Kara's cuck later. The next in line happens to be Yayoi. Gotten says they can't accept her because she failed the aptitude test. But one man says that Enzo commanded they let everyone try. They let her use the simulator. She gets in and skips the tutorial section. She begins the simulation and is killing it. Everyone is stunned by the results. The commander says the calibration is off and pulls Yayoi out of the simulation. He apologizes and puts her in a new simulator, but her results are the same. The commander notes that her results are actually better than before. It wasn't a fluke. This is the real deal. He yells for someone to call the company commander. Back on Ambrosia, Natalie holds Haman's hand as she cries herself to sleep. Side 3 is on the opposite side of the moon, the furthest colony from Earth, but beyond that space is what is called the Zebra Zone. Between there and the Zebra Zone is Lagrange Point 2. Both Side 3 and Axis orbit this L point in a long ellipsis orbit. The zebra zone is beyond this point, and navigation in this area is still unknown and quite harsh in terms of abandoned wreckage. This area is where Xeon remnants and the pirates call home. This is where Ambrosia is located. I don't know why they are telling us all this information about Ambrosia as we leave the Earth sphere, as opposed to when we got here, but hey, I'm not a writer. Ebonheart informs Char that Kaisis is coming from the Republic to personally say goodbye to his crew. Ilya asks Char and Natalie if she could help nurse Haman back to good health. Natalie says she is doing better, but seeing a familiar face may be a good thing for her. Natalie wonders why Char let Ilya join them and not Oksana. He mentions that Ilya has already undergone military training, even though she is a child still. She has the makings of a pilot, something that Axis needs right now. Oksana, though playing a pivotal role to the cause, isn't what Axis needs. Looking back, I think the writer was emphasizing that Ambrosia works as a Xeon outpost because it is driven by civilians. They built families around their cause. This is something that Maharaja Khan was also trying to reach while building Axis. But Char seems to recognize that what Ambrosia has will be more difficult going forward for the people of Axis as it becomes more and more driven by the military under Enzo. Char sees this and adapts by bringing people that can function in this new environment. They drop off Natalie to finish test prep on the Ingolstadt. All that is left seems to be departure settings. The bridge girls, whose names I refuse to learn, notice that Natalie got her hair done and wonders if she went to the Black Pearl. She sure did. They start to find that Natalie is being a little suspicious. These girls are Char stands, so it is best that Natalie not mention anything about having sex with the commander. She simply says that they don't want to let the captain down, right? That motivates them to get back to work. Natalie was able to shut down any possible gossip. Imagine being stuck on a ship for months with these chatty bitches. Kaisis Mbayer comes to meet with Char. He wonders what he thinks of the state of his people. He tells them that after seeing the current state of the Republic, he is still certain that now is not the time to make a move towards independence. Kaisis understands and lets him know that whenever the time comes, he will be there to support him. Of course, we will eventually see Char hold Kaisis to his word as the two help birth newborn Neo-Xeon. The Vice Admiral happens to be on Ambrosia as well and joins them. After hearing of the current state of Admiral Maharaja Khan, he wants to join Char back to Axis. Kaisis says that he is about to be promoted to Admiral, who will lead Ambrosia. He says that they aren't at war, so he will make his return immediately. Yeah, but that immediately is still a year of travel. Back on Mosa, Ricardo is back in the bar when he asks about Yayoi. That is when she comes in and tells him that she has been accepted as a mobile suit pilot after she stopped drinking. She knew that he was scoping out the welfare division and stalking her. She also outs Ricardo as a soldier and pilot, which he was hiding from the bartender. She pushes him to buy her a drink. Meanwhile, Enzo is informed by one of his scientists from the R&D department that they may have found a new type that could pilot their new mobile suit. Jessica wonders about this new mobile suit, and Enzo says he will bring her along when he goes to visit the hangar. The next day, the Ingolstadt finally makes its way back to Axis. On Axis, Jessica meets with Enzo. He was late because he was taking care of his sick daughter. They go out to Axis New Type Labs to find that the pilot already went out to the hangar. Dr. Magany calls down to the hangar to talk to Ensign Rebecca, but Sumari answers the call. She informs the doctor and Enzo that the test isn't ready for real combat. Rebecca comes in and shoves Sumari out of the way. Sumari yells at her, calling her Becky. She is totally a Becky. She gets on the call and salutes Enzo and then floats away. Enzo wonders if she is a good option as a test pilot. Magany says that she has an attitude problem, but her new type powers are exceptional. Sumari wonders if Magany did something to Rebecca. He ends the call. Enzo says that he will not tolerate any failure. The Ingolstadt has acquired a reinforced main booster, which allowed them to complete 90% of their journey in 90 days. They are currently decelerating as they approach Axis. All the girls are hanging out outside of their quarters. There are more restrictions on the return home than there was when they left Axis. Also, Haman hasn't really interacted with the crew. They wonder what happened when they were on Side 3. One of the girls suggests that she no longer has a trust in men. That is when Natalie comes over and suggests to the girls that they sleep during their time off. They all return to their quarters. She goes to give Haman some food. She is feeling better and says she can interact with the crew again. But Natalie suggests that she just lay low since they are almost back at Axis and she might get triggered again. She feels bad for not listening to Natalie and Char's advice about not being around Fabian alone. Natalie says that Char wants to apologize, but she says that it is her that should apologize for not listening. Back on Axis, Enzo's team is watching the previous high command meeting. Enzo has informed the Axis High Command that 1,000 people applied to become pilots. Out of those 1,467 have been selected and are undergoing training. Desire for independence is at an all-time high, but the people still aren't committed to a fight for independence. In the meeting, Commander Jeremy, Lieutenant Commander Katarate, and Lieutenant Commander Chinazi don't believe that they should take any action unless entirely necessary. Enzo tries to incite fear by reminding people that they barely survived last time EFF attacked them. Enzo pauses the video of the High Command meeting. He tells his men to watch over 3 commanders and to look into their backgrounds. Jessica asks if she could give a testimony to refute the weaklings. Enzo tells her that it is still early in the plan, perhaps another time. Enzo dismisses his men except for Jessica. He is working all night and invites her to stay the night with him. Jessica wonders what his wife will think. He doesn't care. Jessica says that when you trust me enough to give a testimony, I will trust you enough to stay the night. She walks out of the room. She begins panicking. It is clear that she is putting on an act to get as much intel on Enzo. Commander Jeremy, Lieutenant Commander Katarati, and Lieutenant Commander Shinazi go to visit Admiral Maharaja Khan in the hospital. They inform him about the hardliners' push towards conflict. More importantly, he tells them that Ensign Jessica and Lieutenant Rutger have become hardliners. This is quite disappointing to the Admiral. Later that day, the 3 commanders go out for a drink. They wonder about Jessica. It is known that she is responsible for the report of Heinz's accident. Perhaps she left a clue in her report. The Ingolstadt is 14 days away from Axis. Char gives a bad joke about not being able to promote his men for this mission. He wonders what Enzo has waiting for them. Rebecca is running a simulation. She takes out 5 gyms. More attacker. After taking out an 8th target, her Psychomu link has been severed. She begins screaming. They shut down the Psychomu link. Sumari tells the doctor that she could only hold a Psychomu link for 150 seconds. They should limit the funnels to 8, but Rebecca wants to push it to 12. The doctor injects some liquid stabilizers. We are seeing Xeon's early developments of cyber-new-type research. Rebecca will be a cautionary tale. She heads out again. Sumari notes that Rebecca never used to be this hostile and that she is slowly changing. At the bar, back on Mosa, Ricardo and Yayoi are having a drink. Yayoi mentions that she has been reassigned to Axis New-Type Labs and that one day she may outrank Ricardo. Back on Axis, the moderate commanders have reopened the case regarding Heinz. Jessica has been summoned for questioning regarding her report. Enzo and her team meet. Jessica plans on saying nothing regarding the incident, but in her head, she is plotting something. Serana or Selena? I am still not sure, but I'm sticking with Serana. It's Haman's sister. She gets a call from Commander Irina. She tells Serana that Maharaja Khan's condition has worsened and to come to the med ward immediately. He seems to be in a coma and hasn't regained consciousness, but he is stable for now. The moderates call Jessica to the stand. She gives her oath. Commander Jeremy states that her report consisted of the scouting routes that Commander Heinz typically takes. He notes that Route E doesn't seem to be a route that Heinz has taken. He wants to know why she put it in the report. Ensign Jessica straight out says that it was fabricated. Enzo, for some reason, is shocked. You really should have saw this coming, bro. She says that the attack in UC-0081 was all planned by Enzo and the hardliners, and they are responsible for Heinz's death. She says that she takes full responsibility for fabricating the report and is willing to accept her crimes for that. They take her as a prisoner. This is an informal tribunal, more like a town hall. The moderates say they will resume with a formal tribunal. The moderates seem to finally have something on the hardliners. Remember, this is all broadcasted to the Axis public. Ricardo is watching this all go down on the news. He gets a phone call. It is Serana. She informs Ricardo that Maharaja fell into a coma. He told her that he sent the message and that it will probably be another 3 months, not knowing that they are weeks away. He hopes Char returns soon. Have you been feeling stressed? Tired of Enzo hardliners trying to sexually assault you? Well, take a load off with Axis Coffee Service. Char asks Natalie about how Haman is holding up. He wants to talk to her once before they make it back to Axis. Natalie says that she actually wants to talk to Char and apologize. Char reminds Natalie that once they get back to Axis, Enzo will probably try to kill her, like they did with Heinz. She says she isn't scared as long as she is by Char's side. Andy calls Char and informs him that they just got a visual of Axis. He heads to the bridge. They are about 3 days away. He has a bad feeling about this. Since the General Assembly, rumors have been spreading throughout Axis In the NCO mess hall, people are divided amongst the hardliners and the rest of the people of Axis. Commander Mikhail comes in to calm the men down. He tells them to leave it in the hands of the court. Lieutenant Rudker is overhearing this conversation. The moderate commanders wonder what this evidence Ensign Jessica has. They are starting to become worried about leaving it in the hands of the courts, knowing that there are surely hardliners amongst their ranks. They are also concerned for Jessica's life. Jessica is being questioned. She tells them that before he died, Hines whispered in her ear that the decryption was successful. There has to be something left from his room or belongings. Meanwhile, the prosecuting attorney investigating the incident is in Hines' old room. He is in cahoots with the Enzo faction and was responsible for wiping all of Hines' data from the previous investigation. All of Hines' men are complaining about Jessica, but he tells them to shut up. One man wants to take care of her, but that would only prove them guilty. Dario informs Enzo that Commander Irene has been ignoring their question in regards to an update on the Admiral. Enzo realizes that his condition is getting worse if they aren't saying anything. This is unexpected, but he says that this might be their opportunity to rise up against the moderates, as they may be without a leader soon. Jessica is going through the records with the moderates. It is confirmed that her ID was logged at the docks around 4 a.m. March 20th, the day of her kidnapping. They look into the log files for the comsci that went out, but there is an error. The file is not found, even though it has a timestamp with metadata suggesting someone was there. It is clear that someone is deleting data. Commander Jeremy believes Jessica. One of the commanders sees NCOs outside during curfew. He goes to tell Commander Jeremy and the other moderates. If one were to start a coup, it would most likely be before evidence comes out about them. Things are about to become hostile. Commander Jeremy doesn't hesitate. He goes over to his guards and asks them if they stand with Enzo or with the Admiral. They say that they stand with the Admiral. He tells them to gather Khan supporters quickly. Jeremy needs to get the emergency code from the Admiral. He contacts Irene and she gives him the code, and the communication lines seem to be already compromised. Jeremy asks if they could get support from the Imperial Guard. She says that they remain loyal only to Princess Meneva. She can't get caught up in a civil war. The moderates were able to find a command station in W Block. It seems that the hardliners have majority influence and even has control of most of the mobile suit pilots. That is when Ricardo comes in asking if he could help out with the mobile suit situation. Luckily, there are mobile suits in W Block. That is when Serana comes in. She should go somewhere safe, but she says that Haman has returned. She could feel it. Outside of Axis, two pilots are scouting the area. They notice that some mobile suit pilots are putting the old Principality of Xeon logos on their suit to stand out from the moderates. The two pilots try to handle business on their own. They attack and destroy the mobile suits. Enzo's men respond by attacking as well. The two random scouts contact the moderates and inform them that they found people planning a coup. These two scouts jump the gun on the moderates' attack. They detect movement on the other side of Axis. There is no going back now. He calls for all hands on deck. It took the Ingolstadt 3 days to get around an asteroid blocking Axis. The struggle of living in a shoal zone. As they circle around the asteroid, they see that Axis is being attacked. They try to contact the asteroid, but Ricardo contacts them first. They tell him that a coup is currently happening by the Enzo faction. For the first time, Haman decides to come out of her room and visit the bridge. Right as she comes on the bridge phrasing, Ricardo tells the crew that Maharaja Khan is in a coma. Haman begins to panic. The hardliners, who now refer to themselves as the true Principality of Xeon, are now in the midst of their coup. Ricardo informs Char that Hines was killed by the hardliners when he found evidence against them. He is using the Admiral's illness to mount an uprising. Haman wants to know more about her father, but all he knows is that the Admiral lost consciousness 2 days ago. Haman says she will go out in the Schneeweiss. Char tells her that she doesn't know what she is up against. Of course she says that she will do what she must to protect her father. Char allows her to launch too, but reminds her that the enemy is her own people and to prepare herself. They try to get into contact with Enzo, but it is no use. Char, Andy, and Gerard head out. Gerard's prototype Rickdom Zwei is having generator issues, and he will need some more time. The YMS-09R2 prototype Rickdom 2, or Rickdom Zwei, is similar to the production version and takes on many design features of the Dom Troppen. It is equipped with a scattering beam gun, a heat saber, a 90mm machine gun, a giant bazooka, the Rakuten bazooka, and a Sternfaust. They have to launch without him. Enzo is informed of a ship approaching from S-Field. It is the Ingolstadt. He believes that if Fabian and Natalie succeeded in their mission, then Char would align themselves with the hardliners. He tells his men to prepare themselves just in case Char decides to go against them. Haman, Char, and Andy head out. Enzo is informed that they launched mobile suits, so he puts the Tusha Schwartz on standby. Sumeri is once again concerned about pushing the mobile suits to 12 bits, as she believes it is only tested for 8, but Becky doesn't listen. Damn it, Becky. Some men approach Rakan Dakarin and ask him to pilot a mobile suit for the new principality. He wants to know on whose orders, and they tell him it is Captain Enzo. He doesn't like any of this and refuses to fight. They detain him with the others who refuse. Rakan is confined with Mikhail, who is more interested in letting the two sides fight it out while he kicks back. Enzo and his men were able to gather 30 mobile suits for his cause, while the moderates only have 12, but 2 were already shot down. It isn't looking good. Char's team begins attacking. They start with the commander units. Enzo is informed that Char's team is attacking their men and has taken out 9 of their mobile suits already. He sends out the Tusha Schwartz. The MS-09RN2 Tusha Schwartz is the predecessor to the Schneeweiss. It is German for ink black. The bits are integrated into the main body, removing the need for the bit carrier. The Psychomu system itself was not perfect and placed high stress on the pilot, requiring the need for drugs. I love drugs. Because the bits were increased to 12, they created the short bit to fit them onto the mobile suit. The scientist tells Becky to activate the controller on the enemy mobile suits. Suddenly, Char, Haman, and Andy's mobile suits stop responding. Remember that device that Andy found on his mobile suit while on Ambrosia? It seems it completely shuts down the mobile suit. They are dead in the water. The Tusha Schwartz comes in to attack Char's team when Ilya and Gerard comes in to help. Ilya is piloting a Comfer. I assume it's Fabian's old Comfer. Ilya goes to protect the downed mobile suits. The Tusha Schwartz unleashes their bits on Ilya. They hit one of her cannons, but Becky notes that they dodged every attack, so they must be a new type. Ilya focuses and shoots. She is able to take down 3 bits. Becky's bit operating time extended beyond 2 minutes. Sumeri calls for her retreat. Something is wrong with Becky in the cockpit. The Ingolstadt makes its way closer to Axis. Enzo wants to fire anti-air cannons, but they must recall all of their units first. He decides to call them back. Natalie realizes that they are trying to fire their cannons on the Ingolstadt. They hide in the shadows of an asteroid, so Axis can't attack them. The team is back on board the ship. The technicians inform Char that they noticed the chip back on Ambrosia, and it is embedded into the system. If they remove it, there is a chance their mobile suits may not function again, but they may be able to rewrite the software embedded on the chip itself. For this, they require Natalie's skill set. She will try her best. Becky is in the ICU. She most likely won't ever recover from this. Sumeri is outside crying. She leaves and heads to her office, where she makes a copy of the data they have on Gundarium Gamma. If you have watched our latest video on Zeta Defined, we see that she gave this data over to Anaheim Electronics and used it to help Char create the prototype Rick Diaz. We see here that it was initial research and development from Axis. She reformats the hard drive to her computer and leaves. She says she can't stay in a place like this anymore. Enzo controls 75% of Axis currently. The areas that the moderates currently control have no ration supplies. They think that they could starve them out in a matter of 1 week. Redker informs Enzo that Char's team shot down many of their commanders during the previous attack. They prepare for a second attack, but Enzo wonders if they need to use mobile suits. He informs him that Becky is a vegetable. He contacts Dr. Magany, but he eases his mind and tells him that he has a new pilot. It is Yayoi. She is willing and ready to help out. Enzo promotes her to the rank of warrant officer. Meanwhile, Haman cries, knowing that even though they returned, she can't be by her father's side. August 3rd, the Vice Admiral suggests to Char that he go to Axis so he could end this rivalry. Char can't afford to allow that. They might still kill him and simply blame it on an accident. On Axis, Dr. Magany is trying to get the Tusha Schwartz calibrated to Yayoi's needs. He tries to enhance her with his shady-ass cyber new type drugs. She is hesitant at first, but eventually gives in as she wants to be the best. Ricardo goes to the infirmary to find Sumeri. She was shot while trying to flee to the moderate camp on the other side of Axis. He came to ask about this new unit she was working on. August 8th. Enzo's team hasn't heard anything from the moderate team. It is only a matter of time until they starve. Meanwhile, the moderates are meeting. They can't hide that they are running out of food to their men. Ricardo informs Jeremy that 3 mobile suits were heavily damaged, 6 were slightly damaged, and all but 1 pilot made it back safely. He also informs them that the hardliners have a mobile suit designed specifically for new types. He becomes sad, most likely knowing that Yayoi is the new pilot. He must launch and talk to the Ingolstadt crew. Natalie has been up for the past 3 days working. Haman finally added the Psychomu system back to the Schneeweiss. Ilya informs Haman that this new mobile suit is quite amazing, but the pilot seems to be new to it. They get a signal of a ship approaching. It is Ricardo. He catches them up on the situation. He even lets the team know about Yayoi. When he says her name, Natalie remembers that she saw data back on Side 3 about her. She was a part of the War for Independence on Side 3. According to Nanai's data, she isn't as strong of a new type as Lala, but she does have the ability to recognize 36 targets at the same time, and that is because the simulator could only handle 36. She possibly could handle more. Haman and Ilya will take on the Tusha Schwartz and Yayoi, while Natalie and Andy goes to meet with the moderates to retrieve the evidence that will implicate Enzo. Gerard and Char will go to capture Enzo himself. Ricardo feels left out, but Char reminds him that he is the leader of the moderate mobile suit team back on Axis. The Axis team is currently on standby and awaiting launch. They plan for an attack at 2300 hours. Later at that time, the operation begins. Natalie travels with Char and his Gelgoog. Enzo notices Char launching and sends out Yayoi. Ricardo and his team also launch. One man heads out too far and gets picked off by Yayoi. Haman comes in and takes her on. She realizes that Yayoi has so many bits. Ilya notes that the bits are quite faster than their last battle. Unlike last time, the pilot now knows what she is actually doing. Char, Natalie, and Gerard meet with Jeremy and the moderates. They inform him of Enzo's location. Natalie suggests that they use the air ducts. They don't seem to have another choice, unless they want to get some jetpacks and go out for a spacewalk. The moderates must try to distract the hardliners. While they do this, Natalie meets with Ensign Jessica regarding the evidence. She notes that he said that he left a clue, but she doesn't know where. Natalie suggests checking the secret network designed only for the Admiral and Minerva. She was able to find that Heinz indeed did leave something for them. Natalie and Andy go to search Heinz's old room. The hardliners are trying to get Irene to help them, but she is ordered to always be by Minerva's side. Things seem to be taking a turn for the worse for Maharaja. Explosions go off near W Block. The moderates are distracting the hardliners. Char and Gerard are sneaking around above the Enzo faction. Enzo is getting tired, but one of his men tells him to get some rest, and he takes over command. Now is their time to move. Natalie put up a loop on the security cameras so they won't be seen. They enter Heinz's room to find nothing, just like Jessica told them. However, Natalie thinks something is behind the mirror. Haman and Yayoi have a bit battle. Bit battle, bitch. One by one, Haman's bits go down. She only has 1 bit remaining. Even with just 1 bit, she continues on fighting. Enzo's man, Dario, notices that something is wrong in C Block. The security cameras don't match the response they are getting. He realizes that there is a rat amongst them. He goes to inform Enzo of the situation. He opens the door to find Gerard pointing a gun at Enzo and Char pointing a gun right at Dario. Haman and Yayoi continue their fight when Ilya gets in the middle and gets hit hard. Haman is trying to hold off until Char can end the battle. Meanwhile, Enzo wonders what Char intends to do to them. He says that he plans on putting a stop to his nonsense, but he is certain Char still has no proof. He says proof will come soon enough. Natalie was able to find some sort of flash drive behind the mirror. It is the proof that Heinz left behind. She has to upload it immediately. Char and Gerard breaks into the command center with Enzo's men and demand that they command their men to withdraw from the battlefield, but none of his men are being cooperative with Char. He asks Natalie if there is a way she can upload the file on her end. They are cut off from the network, but she will find a way. Out in space, Yayoi notices something approaching. It is Ricardo. He grabs onto Yayoi's mobile suit and tries to get them to stop fighting, but she has been given a cocktail of cyber-new type drugs. Doesn't really remember Ricardo. While this is happening, Haman tries to help with her 1 bit. Natalie, with the help of Jessica, were able to expose Heinz's data and corroborated it with the copy of the data that Maharaja Khan backed up and sent to the homeland. He tells Enzo that it is time for him to step down. Ricardo tries to get Yayoi to remember him by calling himself Daddy, which is how Yayoi used to tease him. He makes dirty jokes to try to get her to lighten up, but Haman, with her 1 bit, locks onto Yayoi. She is able to notice Haman. Rather than protect herself, she pushes Ricardo's mobile suit away. Haman gets a direct hit, killing Yayoi. The ceasefire goes up. Everyone returns to Axis. Haman runs to her father. She is met with Sarana, who informs her that Maharaja Khan is dead. Are you tired of Axis coffee service? Looking for something that doesn't give you the jitters, but gives you the energy needed to command Axis? Then try 17T. Nothing says productivity like 17T. August 9th, UC0083. Char talks to Irene. Things have calmed down, but this coup has shown that the majority of Axis wants to fight for independence, even though they regained peace. It is only a matter of time until someone else attempts to rise up. At a certain point, you have to give the people what they want. It may be time to return to the Earth sphere soon. Irene has a proposal to ease the tensions. Make Haman Khan the regent for Lady Minerva. She will lay claim to Zeon until Minerva comes of age, just like Maharaja Khan. She may be 16, but she is also the only one to appease the minds of the moderates and the hardliners. Char goes to persuade her and to take the position. Haman gives a eulogy for her father as the new regent. She is wearing her same outfit that she is wearing in Zeta Gundam. One thing that we are starting to see Haman repeat over and over again is the phrase, "As long as you are by my side," referring to Char. Her attachment is becoming an obsession. Natalie wants to talk to Haman about a relationship, but is ashamed to do it in public. Haman will come to her quarters later that night. Jessica is afraid of being alone because the mysterious man that captured Jessica is still roaming free. She is right to be afraid, as the mysterious Enzo loyalist is planning on taking out the two remaining Enzo subordinates, Jessica and Natalie. Haman goes to Natalie's room. Does that cake have a little edible axis on it? I want it. She plans on telling Haman that she is pregnant with Char's child, but she is able to sense it with her new type powers. She yells at Natalie for not being there to protect her from Fabian. That night, she was assaulted and thinks that Natalie wasn't being a friend and just playing games with her. She also says that she cared about Char since she was a child, and Natalie betrayed her knowing her true feelings. Gross. She wants nothing to do with Natalie and no longer thinks of her as her sister. As Haman runs away, behind her, he sees a man walking around in the female quarters. Haman notices this and does nothing. The man who killed Hines confronts Natalie. Haman hears a gunshot and decides to finally call her guards. Several minutes later, Char comes to see that the guards have killed the man, but they were too late. Char sees Natalie's dead body. 2 months later, Char is reflecting on his next move. He only really cared about Maharaja Khan. Now that he is gone, Haman has helped the hardliners become the majority power in Axis. As Char looks over Natalie's dead body, the doctor tells him that she was pregnant. He didn't know. She walks to Haman's chambers and asks if she knew that Haman was pregnant. She says nothing. Char drinks in anger alone in his room thinking about Natalie. October, UC-0083. A random Musai approaches Axis. It happens to be Kamuji. While Char and Kamuji run practice battles, Andy talks about the anti-Federation sentiments going around to get Yayoi off Ricardo's mind. They wonder if Char is planning on heading to the Earth sphere again. Jessica overhears this conversation. Char tries to convince Haman to go to the Earth sphere to gather support for independence, but she wants him by her side. I have a feeling he's been hearing this a lot the past 2 months. Haman says she will consider it over. The moderates meet with Jessica about feeling sad. Even though they won the rebellion, the hardliners have more power than ever. Jessica mentions that she heard a rumor about Char leaving for Earth. The rumor starts to spread. Char meets with Sumeri about leaving for the Earth sphere. Everyone seems to know now. Natalie trusted Sumeri, so she trusts Char with what she is about to give him. She provides him with the data on Gundarium Gamma, as well as all of her designs for the next generation of Xeon mobile suits. A part of the designs are ideas for what will become the Kubli. Char decides to keep the Gundarium Gamma data, but he feels bad that he was able to do absolutely nothing for Haman. So he decides to leave the mobile suit designs with Haman and Axis. Probably could have saved a few headaches and definitely could have saved a few lives if you held on to that one. Just saying. Jessica has a meeting with Haman. She asks if she could be a part of Char's expedition to the Earth sphere, but Haman never gave such order. The rumor got way too out of control, but because essentially all of Axis knows about it, to save face, she allows Char to go on the mission and make it seem like it was her plan all along. October 29th, UC-0083. Char departs to the Earth sphere with a fleet of 600 men. UC-0084. 11 months later, the fleet makes it to the Earth sphere. During this journey, the entirety of the Delaz conflict took place. Go check out our coverage of Stardust Memory to see how that played out. Once they make it to the Earth sphere, they all split up and essentially will be operating on their own. Jeremy and the other moderates are commanding the other ships. Char and his team are about to transition into that AUG lifestyle, but for the rest of the fleet, they are becoming Xeon remnants. Char simply got all the moderates off of Axis. Most of them would rather struggle to survive as remnants than live with the Axis hardliners. This wasn't a scouting mission. This was an escape plan. Char heads to Ambrosia and meets with Ebenhard. Vice Admiral Clemens ended up staying on Axis as an advisor for Haman. Sumeri plans on heading to Zionic to find a job, but Ebenhard tells her that Anaheim Electronics absorbed Zionic. Ebenhard is willing to write her a letter of recommendation, however. Here is how Sumeri ends up with AE. On board is also Irene. After Haman took over, she had no place with Lady Minerva, so she quit the military. She says she has something on Earth she wants to do, and she's gone forever. So mysterious. I can't get a read on her. Char leaves his crew to live a new life on Ambrosia, while he and Kamuji, Andy, Ricardo, and Jessica head to Site 3. They meet with Nanai. Miguel is also there on video call. Essentially, there is a faction within the Federation that is building anti-Federation sentiments, so they want Char's team to join EFF to become a part of this faction. If you saw our coverage on Jenny Ryden, we talked about how EFF's data on lost soldiers is spotty. Soldiers will show up randomly, claiming to be lost fleets from the one-year war. Because most data was destroyed during the colony drop, there is very little they could do but re-enlist them and throw them back into the system. Char will take advantage of this by pretending to be soldiers that are considered MIA. They plan on meeting with Miguel on Luna 2. They also plan on meeting an important individual on Side 1. Meanwhile, Titan's Commander Basque received important intel regarding this meeting at Luna 2 and a meeting on Side 1. They plan on taking them out. A Titan lieutenant heads home and talks to his wife about the mission. Their maid happens to be Oksana, spying and finding out that the Titans know of Luna 2. 5 days later, they make their way to Luna 2 to meet with Miguel. They now go by the names Quattro, Apolly, and Ricardo. Jessica goes by the name Jane now. One man, Bjorn, with Miguel, was a former Xeon soldier, but he happens to be working with the Titans. Miguel notices that someone took the new ID data from Char's team. Miguel's cover has been blown, so he has to take down the ship outside. Bjorn stole a GM. Meanwhile, Char and the team follow in GMs as well. The Salamis outside of Luna 2 picks up the gem. Char and Miguel do not hesitate and take out the Salamis before they leak data. Meanwhile, Kamuji and the captain of one of the ships of Char's fleet are about to be intercepted. It seems the Titans are creating a diversion and know about the meeting on Side 1. Char intercepts the emergency message from Ambrosia regarding Side 1 and goes to help. Kamuji launches in the only Zaku on board their ship. GM Coils come in and attack Kamuji, but she is able to hold them off. Some gems come in, but it is Char and his team. They attack the GM Coils, who were expecting allies. Georges runs out of ammo and resorts to his beam saber, but he is surrounded by GM Quells. They go into attack and destroy George's GM. It is only Kamuji and Char against 5 GM Quells. Suddenly, one is destroyed. A Gulgug comes out of nowhere. Kamuji recognizes the voice. It happens to be Fabian. Fabian helps destroy the remaining GM Quells. Rather than kill Fabian, he spared his life, and in the end, Fabian ended up saving Char's life. The two say their farewells. 3 days later, Quattro meets with Commodore Blex. July, UC 0085. The Titans resorted to gassing the colonies, helping in the rise of the Ayug. Ensign Jessica says their farewells to the gang. She doesn't like fighting and wants to support the remaining forces on Ambrosia. Kamuji is the one taking her to Ambrosia. She sees the current state of Xeon as a civil war and doesn't want to join EFF to fight against her people. Kamuji is going to pursue a singing career. A part of Blex's crew is Caesar and Torres. Apolly and Roberto agree to follow Quattro until the end, and they absolutely keep that promise. Meanwhile, on Axis, Haman goes, "Where the hell is Char?" She makes plans for Axis to leave the Earth sphere in 60 days. As Haman reflects, a young Puru comes up and gives her a hug. Puru is excited to see the Earth. Dr. Magni walks in with Puru 2 and tells Puru not to bother Haman. She tells the doctor to let them out and give them a life. They are clones, but they deserve humanity. These words gave Puru and Puru 2 a fighting chance. This humanity that is instilled in them most likely is what allowed them to find a family in Judo later on. Quattro and the gang look up at the new Gamma Gundam. Quattro is the one that gives it the name Rick Diaz. On the Argama, the team discussed that this new colony, Green Noah 1, has a secret Titans base, and that Quattro received intel that there are new Gundams being built there. Quattro, Apolly, and Roberto launch in the Rick Diaz for the first time and head to the colony. As the three reflect on their lives together on Axis, Quattro senses something. He senses a new type. On Green Noah 1, a young girl named Camille also senses something.